Anyway.
Probably go out to my presentation now. If you want me to, I will, but.
And then.
Fine.
Five minutes.
No, that's all the other stuff. She comes up and free, so it's going up there. So that they fundraiser.
Do you care?
I don't.
Yeah, we had so much to use.
General.
Yeah.
So just.
Yeah, I think it is. Oh, I don't even do that. On your side. Yeah, but a little bit more sad.
Oh, you know, you're right.
And I've got 5 o'clock.
Oh, we are way.
We're way early.
So proud of us. Oh, this is. I can't. Where is it? Happy birthday, Mayor. You need to break out in song?
No,
You want it to be recorded? Is that
No.
what you're saying? You told me no.
absolutely. There's something against that, right? On my legal counsel?
It is in code that you haven't.
Well, we're gonna be in need of new city attorneys,
I don't.
Fair, I get that.
I'm spreading out further and further.
But it's the mayor's birthday. Okay, I think happy birthday.
All right, I have 6 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order. Thank you very much. Let's get this right out of the way. There are cookies there. Thank you, Sarah, for doing it. But this is the last that we're going to mention the birthday today. I'm an old man. I get it. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for everybody. I'm happy to spend my birthday here. I have my lovely wife, and so I'm happy to. So thank you very much. We're going to have the 1A, the Pledge of Allegiance, opening prayer, or reading or expression of thought, or all of the above, by Councilmember Johnny Ferry.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father, we gratefully come before you this night with the opportunities to gather as a community. Grateful for those who sacrifice and bring us peace and safety. Grateful for those who put themselves in harm's way. And we pray, ask that will be with each of our families, with our community, our neighbors, those who we love. Be with and provide peace and comfort for those who are mourning or suffering at this time. We ask that thy Spirit guide us in our decision making and our thought processes. May we use our talents that we've been blessed with to better our community, our neighborhoods, and our area that we have been assigned to, and that we might improve and make better. We're grateful for all that we have. We ask that Spirit be poured upon this area. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. All right. I just have one thought. As a notification for everybody, we have all been told a lie. We've all been deceived in some way. And it is this. We were promised that the more material possessions that we have, the richer we would be. We were promised that the more friends and followers that we gather, the more popular we would be. That the more commitments that we would take on, the more important we would be. But yet, the more we are being sold this is not delivering the actual more that we really want in life. More possessions don't equate to more happiness. Meaningful relationships aren't built on likes and shares. And true importance isn't found in a full schedule or an overflowing inbox. The only road to more that really matters is less. Fewer things and more experiences. Fewer shares, but deeper conversations. Less busyness and more purpose. Make your choice today to focus on less, but be better with that less. Thank you.
Thank you. 1B, declaration of conflicts of interest. Is there any, have you looked at the agenda? Is there any conflicts to report? Seeing none, we'll move on to the public comments questions for the mayor, city council, which is limited to 3 minutes. And these are for items that aren't necessarily, well, I guess they could be on the agenda, but if we had any public hearing, yes, it would be part of that. But any comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent items. Item number 2, minutes from January 13th, 2026, open and closed. February 24th, 2026, open and closed, and February 28th, 2026. Laurie's been busy this last week.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent items.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
We have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. All right, and I'm very proud of this next item, the Neighbors in Action. And we had a little problem with some of the things for last week, so we had it on the agenda, but it's going to now be part of our the second council meeting in going forward. So we will have another one next week, next council meeting, the 24th. So then we'll get caught up. So Laurie, can you just put that on the agenda for next week? But Dana, thank you.
Thank you. I'm Dana Gibson, and I just have to say this is my greatest honor and privilege. I am getting to know some amazing people in Pleasant View, and this has been so much fun for me. So I just appreciate you guys letting me do this with some really great council wives as well. So tonight we're going to recognize someone for being good in Pleasant View, Bob Eckert. I'm just going to read this. And I didn't just talk to one person, I actually talked to a few people about Bob. Bob Eckert is known for his service. As a retired attorney, Bob has always been willing to help friends and neighbors with free legal advice. He can also be found taking the neighbors' trash cans in and out for them on garbage day. But the service he is most known for is using his snow clearing tractor. Once he had a client who couldn't pay him, but she had a tractor, so she let him have it for a really good deal. And since then, he has driven around his neighborhood during and after snowstorms, looking for people who need his help clearing the snow from their property. And he's been doing this for many, many years. And he is very appreciated by his friends and neighbors. And so I'm going to turn the time over to Mayor Gibson to present the award. And can I just say really quickly, we're so lucky. Someone saw our post on Facebook and has offered to sponsor Caught Being Good. And so Crown Trophy is now making trophies for all of our winners. And so we're really excited about that. And so, Mayor.
And yeah, it is. And as I talked to Bob just before the meeting here, I'm so thankful that we can see positive things that are happening in Pleasant View. And I've had a lot of people call me and seen it in the newsletter. We want more nominations for sure. And so, but it's just truly an honor to have this positive thing in our community. And so it is from the mayor and the city council, Caught Being Good, February 2026. Bob Eckert, in recognition of your quiet dedication, selfless service, and positive impact on Pleasant View community, your humility and commitment exemplify the values that strengthen our city from the Neighbors in Action Committee. You want to see these, Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, sorry. Absolutely.
Just thought I'd make a comment or two. My family and I had the privilege of moving to Pleasant View in 1975. And we found that the name is very apt. It's a beautiful view of Ben Lomond and the valley, and it's a very pleasant place to live. Over the years, I've been very impressed and appreciative of those people that served in the city council, the mayors, for years and years, have all had the best for the city at all. Been very impressed with the staff that I've dealt with, and the maintenance crew, and the police department. I've known something about them for many years. I served as a city attorney for the first few years that I lived here. And it's been a very pleasant place to live, to raise my kids. It's a safe community, and I think the citizens all have a great care and concern for the people. So it's privilege. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll move on to item number 4, which is a tough presentation. This is a transportation utility fee. Mayor Call kind of initiated this back in the previous administration, and so Sarah is here with Jones and Associates, and she's going to share the thing with us. Our microphone is out of battery, so we're kind of switching back and forth, so hopefully it'll be charged, but she'll speak into this
I'll just
microphone.
present from here. Do you have my presentation?
They all have it. Their packets, but I can.
Okay, sorry. So I'll go through my slides. I'll try not to go in too much depth with the slides, kind of go quickly through the presentation, but I just don't know everyone's level of understanding of the TUF. So please feel free to just stop me, ask questions, and I'll do my best to kind of present this idea. So transportation utility fees came about the last 10, 15 years as a way to fund road maintenance. We found that roads were becoming problematic in most communities, not just Pleasant View. And so the fee was started so that road maintenance could be charged to the residents who were using the roads directly as a fee, as opposed to trying to appropriate certain taxes only and just state funding. It's just the other revenues were not providing enough maintenance for the roads. So that's where this started. Let's see. Okay, we'll go down to the next, what is the transportation utility fee? So yeah, basically it's used by governments to fund maintenance of roads. It's paid for by property owners based on their access to the system and their use of the system. Because it's a fee, it does need to be connected to their use. Like we have a water fee or a sewage fee. It's not just a blanket fee. It is related to how the residents are using the roads. And it's used to support the existing road system. So it's not meant for development. So in theory, we charge the property owners based on their access and use is defined as trip generation. Now, for my analysis, I got trip generation information from the ITE manual, and I'm trying to remember what the transportation. They basically have looked at different types of uses, industrial, manufacturing, commercial types of commercial uses, and they have charts and they have average usage for each type of land use that you can gather data from. And that's how I got the trip counts for this study. And so I should tell you, I'm meeting with you, and this is something I forgot to tell you. I'm meeting with you because I'm working on this study and I wanted to get a baseline of where you wanted to head with this study before I finished out the analysis. So I'll at the end, I'll propose some options, and I just want input from you all on where you want to see maybe more information and where you want to kind of drive the analysis so that it can be beneficial to you. So in practice, the utilities aren't metered necessarily. We're looking at that generation. So this is a slide that I think is the most important. I don't know how many of you were here 10 years ago when the TUF was instituted. But the idea is that if you look at that curve, about between 10 and 15 years, we start to lose a lot of our road integrity. And if we don't perform maintenance at about that 10-year mark, about 7 to 10 year mark, if we don't start initiating some maintenance to preserve the roads, we get into a situation where the quality is declining quite quickly, and we will end up spending a lot more money to rehabilitate the road down the road. So, and obviously, you know, that shows that we can do, and when we talk about, that's mostly like our chip seal maintenance, sometimes crack seal, but mostly chip seal maintenance. We'll give those little bumps to keep them at a high level. It does deteriorate over time. So in theory, yes, it's giving it 5 years of life, but you can only chip seal so many times, but we can get quite a lot of life out of a road through continual maintenance just at that chip seal level. So we're looking at about, it's $1 in preservation, prevents about $6 to $10 if we're looking at overlays, rebuilding roads down the road. I gotta quit saying that because there's so many roads in this. Okay, so I looked at Pleasant View in particular. We've got, let's see, about 10 million square feet of road asphalt to maintain. And so chip seal, they recommend every 5 to 7 years in general. And so if we were to just paint a chip seal every road in Pleasant View every 7 years, it would cost about $1 million. So just to give kind of perspective of what we're looking at, and that's just for chip seal maintenance. That doesn't rebuild any roads. That's just if you're cycling through and hitting all the roads every seven years or so. Roads are going to need it more, some are going to need it less, depending on their use and environmental factors, but just to give you an idea. So here are our current funding sources. Of course, we've got our Class C, our sales tax. The $200,000 a year has been allocated from the general fund to go towards our road maintenance. And currently the transportation utility fee is at $4 an ERU. Well, I'll cover the ERU a little bit later in this. And that generates about $185,000 from the residential and commercial industrial uses in Pleasant View. And so the current expenses that we have budgeted out, or that I saw from the budget in Pleasant View, that don't include maintenance, that don't include that chip seal or rebuild, would be like the vehicle maintenance part that's coming out of street funds, striping. Some of that striping, if we're chip sealing those roads, it would be built into the chip seal, but I left it there just because sometimes we stripe the roads that aren't chip sealed. The sidewalk trip hazard program, street lights, and miscellaneous concrete projects. So those are the ones that are in the budget currently that don't address resurfacing the roads in particular. So I analyzed just resurfacing the roads. And so that leaves about $800,000 for that maintenance that I was talking about before, yearly. So that's currently what's budgeted and being used for just the road maintenance. So looking at our current streets, we hired a company to analyze the roads in Pleasant View. And based on different factors of analysis, they come up with what they call a remaining service life. So roads generally from the time they're first put in to when they have to be rebuilt with no maintenance, there's 20 years span. And so looking at this in Pleasant View, we've got a chunk of road 20 years. And I looked into that. A lot of those roads are our new developer roads. So developers, when they put in a community, have to put these streets in initially, and they will be at that brand new span. So that's where we get a lot of those 20-year ones, because Pleasant View hasn't been able to rebuild a lot of roads in the recent past. So we've got some that are from Pleasant View, but a lot of those are developer roads. What is a little bit concerning to me is that number, that big spike you see in kind of the clustering. We're seeing a lot of roads that are at that under 10-year lifespan. And so that's where it's getting really close to the point where we're not gonna be able to just do a chip seal. If we want better quality out of the road, it's gonna require an overlay or a complete rebuild. So at about the 6-year ones, some of those might be able to chip seal. Some of those are to the point where they're gonna need an overlay. And the 4-year ones are most likely overlay, the 0 or rebuilds. So it kind of gives you an idea of where the roads are right now. So the average there I didn't mention was at about 9.08. That's the average remaining lifespan. But it looks like if you don't look at the new roads and what we've actually been paying to maintain, it might even be a little bit lower. So yeah, 44% of the streets are at a remaining service life of 6 or less, and 72% of the streets are a remaining service 10 years or less. So looking at our current funding, so I ran an analysis based on what the funds we have and what kind of doing the best case scenario at the best time, using that $800,000 and putting it towards road maintenance. And doing that, our average RSL will drop from approximately 9 to just over 7. That's over the next 10 years, just because we're not quite reaching the full maintenance amount to preserve the roads before they deteriorate. And so at that point, we expect about 20% of the roads will be at or near failure. And mind you, some of these they're not all our main roads, there's a lot of residential and everywhere, but that's what the study showed. So looking at the fee, I ran some different fee studies. Right now, we're paying the $4 in ERU. And so I'll show you just kind of the different scenarios I ran through to see what kind of options you'd want to do for funding. So obviously we've got our environmental factor and our traffic loading factor. So the roads are going to deteriorate just from existing. We put them in, the weather deteriorates, whether people drive on them or not. So that's one factor. And then the traffic loading is the other factor that deteriorates the roads. And so in analyzing them, we looked at the ERU, stands for equivalent residential unit. And that's just every residence has connection to the road and they generate about 9 trips. So if that one unit, every resident would pay for about 9 trips a day and to be connected to the system. And then we looked at that end trip analysis from the ITE manual and looked at our commercial properties to figure out how do we compare, how do we want to charge those commercial and industrial uses for the increased impact they have on the road system. So here it talks about so we've got residential and then the commercial, we have 3 different categories based on their intensity of use, and they'll pay like kind of an load use fee, an increased load use fee, in addition to the basic fee that all the residents pay for different impacts of use. And we can keep going. The rest are not very exciting. So this, I looked at what Utah is doing as far as utility fees go and kind of where we sit. The average in Utah from data that I could find was about $7.24 per ERU. They go up as high as $18.50, and I think $3.50 was the lowest we saw. So that just gives you an idea, but we don't really know how much out of everyone's general fund they're using for the roads or the condition of their roads going in or not, but just to kind of give an idea of what is being charged around us. So yeah, South Weaver's at 15. Yeah, they found that they had a lot more issues and decided
North Ogden is 15 too.
It's North Ogden 15 too. Okay.
That's just recent.
That's recent. Thank you. I wasn't aware of that. Okay, so we can keep going. So I did a few different studies. First, I looked at just the current funding is at $4. Average funding is at just over 7. My recommended one, and that's ironic that they picked 15. 15 to me, what it does is it gives you $1 million to continue the maintenance of your roads, to give enough just to keep as many as you can in that upper threshold and not falling into the more expensive areas. And then it gives you about $300,000 to address the major issues. It's still going to be hard to kind of claw your way up, but I mean, the roads are never all perfect. You know, you pick and choose which ones you can
And
do.
that's-
And yeah,
That's per year.
no, that's per month. That's a
Month.
monthly fee. Yes.
Well, no, $1 million.
Oh, yes, the $1 million is per year. Yes.
300,000.
That's yearly.
So we'd have, if you had a utility fee of $15, you would have a monthly fee of $15 per ERU. You would have about $1 million or 1,300,000 or 6,000 total yearly to work with. And so you could use $1 million. I would recommend using $1 million to maintain the roads, and then you'd have 300,000 to put towards projects to update them. And I don't know, something to consider. I just ran the numbers because the money we put in now is time value of money and the deterioration of the roads. If it is all interesting at all to do a $5 million bond now, I just put those numbers up there. It would be $1 million. It would be roughly $300,000 to pay the bond instead of putting $300,000 a year into the road maintenance, but then you could do the maintenance sooner. And what that looks like over the 10 years is that you have about the same that are on the very bottom level that have kind of filtered through the bottom. But the ones that are less than 10, if you do the bond, you only have 5% that are under 10. And without the bond, you have 17% under 10. So it's just an idea to think about. I know bonds are very difficult and controversial, but I just thought I'd run the numbers so that you could just have something to compare them to. If we keep with the $4, we expect that we'll have about 68-70% less than 10. So things will stay about the same, except we probably will have more severe failure on the bottom, if that makes sense. We'll be able to cycle through and maintain a chunk of the roads, but there'll probably be some that just are not addressed at all. And if you do the average funding, it doesn't improve the outlook much. It gets you about 63% at the RSL under 10 and only 17% at the less than 6. So I threw a lot of numbers and information at you. What are your questions?
So just before we
Yeah.
open it up to questions, I want to make a couple comments. So Sarah and I went through this about 10 years ago.
Oh, not me, Dana.
No.
Sarah.
Like, I didn't work for Jones 10 years ago.
It was like
So
2016.
There's more
we
than,
enacted the $4.
so
Something.
it's about 10 years ago. I think you were there. I think you were.
I think it was either right before me or right
Okay,
after.
well.
Yeah.
This is deja vu, and I wish we had done something more than $4 at the time. Because all these statistics, all these things were 10 years ago. The roads were in pretty much the same condition. Did a study, I hate the studies, but we were in fail. I think we were $10 million to replace all the roads and get them up to passing, 10 years ago. So here we are, 10 years later, and we're facing the same thing again.
Mayor, if you remember though, I think the recommendation was higher, but we.
Yeah, oh, of course it was. Yeah, it was higher, and we, that's how much can the residents stomach? It's just, and so here we are. It's horrible that I've been here 12 years and can now having this deja vu. But for this council, which is a lot of new people since that time, and maybe even Sarah, this is something that we're going to have to think about. And again, just a couple more minutes, then I'll turn it over to Sarah to answer some questions. But as I was running for mayor, this is one of the big things that I did not have an answer for. Roads are failing. I've lived in my house 31 years. Not one thing's been done to my roads, no offense, but I'm glad I have four-wheel drive sometimes to make it through the potholes up on the upper road. They were filled recently, thank you. I can take it back out of four-wheel drive, so I appreciate that.
My
But
road's the same.
But it's just, it's a it's just, and we just don't have the money to do this. And so, and I appreciate Leonard kind of initiating this, but you guys are gonna have to make some decisions that are gonna be tough. And the residents are not gonna wanna pay this fee, but it's gotta come from somewhere. And so I just, and we're not making a decision today. This is just information. But this is gonna have to be something that we are going to have to really seriously look at. And, you know, Public Works does a great job. I applaud them for what they do with what they have. And I appreciate that. They can only do so much. And we've tried to bundle projects and we've tried to do stuff to get the best price, the best deal. And we do, I mean, I recognize your factor there of taking care of the roads that are in good condition and keep them going. We have to do, because there are roads like mine or Sarah's, Sarah, that are in failure. I mean, you can't do anything with my road but rip it up. It's just alligators so bad. It's just, it's gone. And every time the snowplow comes down, I get loads of gravel in my gutter because it's to that point. So I just want to make that statement before we get too deep into, but I appreciate the information. I appreciate it being brought back up. You are going to have to make some decisions. Okay, any questions for Sarah?
I'll start out, but on the same lines of where you were just chatting, I'm curious if it was 10 or 12 years ago, the last time you addressed this, there had to have been a discussion since that time until now about this issue. Or it's been brought up before.
Thing was
Every year, every
decided
budget time.
or.
Yeah, it's just we
haven't had this.
we've kicked this, we had a presentation very similar to this 10 years ago, very similar statistics, similar things. I can't remember who did it. But it was told, and you know, I think we were pushing for $10. Oh my gosh, $120 a year. Outrageous, we're not gonna be able to do it. Tyson was probably just a young buck then, before he had a beard and it was this, yeah. But Tyson was a little kid back then, but it was just, we just didn't know what, you know, and I was new. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna put this on the residents. But here we are, 10 years later, we still have this, pretty much the same problem as 10 years later. We're kicking this can down the road. And so we either kick it down for the next 4 to 10 years.
And it will be more then.
Or, you know, we want to be a rural community. Do we go back to gravel roads? My brother lives in Michigan.
Like you have.
Well, I've got a gravel road, but it's still good. But, you know, he lives in Michigan and it's horrible. They don't have money to fund, and he has asphalt on his road. And it's just a mess. Anyway, so Johnny, did I interrupt you or?
No, I wanted to get some perspective, because this has to be a every year issue, or every so often issue.
Well,
I'm just curious why.
we put $4 and we felt that was, I think I made that motion for $4. I think they wanted more. And that's all I could.
I can tell you, but we haven't, this is of a study every year, every.
Well,
year we talk about
yeah, we have it, but we've talked about it, but we just, you know, 185,000, I didn't realize we got that much out of it. Laurie, is that true? Do we get that much out of our $4? I was thinking it was 85.
186,000 is what
Oh.
comes out of the top.
I didn't think we got that much out of it.
That's what I was gonna ask. Where is that? I'm not sure on that.
It was on.
One little comment while they're looking at that, real quick, the Class C and D road funds that we're getting, the state legislature also just passed legislation this year to reduce the amount that cities get now too. So legislatively, you know, the state's taking away more of the money that we use for road maintenance and stuff, so the tough fee is only $4, but now the Class C and D road funds that we depend on are going down as well, and so it's depleting our budget, no matter how you look at it. And so if we don't compensate it for somewhere, we're gonna be in really big trouble.
Sarah, maybe a question for you. So at $4, we collect $800,000 annually.
185.
Oh, 185, the 800 is collectively what we can spend on maintenance after our expenses and after we've collected from all different sources.
Okay,
Does that include the
let
Class
me,
C?
well,
Includes the Class C.
let me ask the question. Let me
Yeah.
finish that. It may make sense when I finish.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but for $15, I get 1.3 million annually. It seems like if if I'm investing in
Yeah.
this, then I should be able to, if we follow the same ratios, but it doesn't sound like you do. If you're going $4 and you get $800,000 out of that, I put $15 into it and I get 1.3.
No,
It doesn't.
$4,
work that
we
way.
get, $185,000. $4,
Subtract all the other sources.
but then we get, so this, look at this, so we get this, we get Class C road fund, sales tax, property tax, and the transportation at $4, we get $185,000.
And they've added all that up to be 800.
Yeah.
So we have other funding sources other than.
So there's a fixed
Okay.
cost in there that gets covered and then the rest of it.
But the other cost is going down. The state legislature has reduced the amount of Class C and D road funds percentages that are going to go to municipalities.
Okay. That maybe maybe I answer my own question. There's no other option in how we invest this, how we get this money and how we apply it. Is that
Well,
correct?
we have limited, we have these sources
that
for,
correct?
for road funds that are
Yes.
on paper.
We can only use tough funds for roads.
Yeah.
So that is, because it's a fee, it does have to go towards the people that are paying the fee and the purpose.
And the one thing that we talked about with the fee versus a tax versus, property
Mhm.
tax, all these different things, a fee can be taken off very easily. Property taxes, it's difficult to do that. So that's why originally years ago, Tufts, I think we're fairly new at that point.
Very, yes.
It was just a funding source. But it goes on the residents. The residents are paying for it no matter what, whether it be a property tax increase, whether it be but with the tough, it does have to go to roads.
Yes.
Property tax, we can put it into the general fund, but the tough has to be used for roads.
Mayor,
So-
can I ask some questions?
Absolutely.
A couple questions for you. Do we have like a time frame where we have to spend it? You know, some things have kind of an expert, like you have to spend it in 1 year, you have to spend it in 2 years. You know what I mean? Do we have any like time frame where we must spend?
That is a good question. I believe that every year we have to spend a certain amount of it, or
Yeah.
well,
It's more like your enterprise fund, and so you're not
Yes.
trying to keep a
Store
balance outside
Right.
of what you need to save up for maybe the bigger
Yeah.
projects. So that's what we would sort of do is you were using the tough pretty much dollar for dollar or pretty close to, we weren't trying to save a balance. You were using it all for most of your chip seal projects were coming out of this, and then those couple of side items.
Okay. And then is this when, if you adopt a tough fee, do you hold a public hearing?
we already had, so 10 years ago when it was adopted, we held a public hearing and we do have to update it. So the push for this analysis right now is every 10 years you have to do a restudy and ours expires in May. So I don't believe you have to have, you'd have to, I'd have to ask the attorney.
Schedule, I think we do.
Yes, we will have to have a public hearing. Okay. So the fee's already been adopted, but,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my last question, and I don't know if you can answer this, but I remember a council member running before and he kind of had a road background. And he just said in passing, it kind of stuck with me, is that chip seal isn't like proven method to help with roads. How do you feel about that? Where can I research that? Is that legit? Like,
I haven't heard that opinion before. From all the transportation information I have is that chip seals, they won't fix roads once there have significant issues, but they're great for preservation and longevity. So they do have to be applied at a certain stage. If we're doing chip seals too far down the degradation road, then
that makes
that
sense.
might make more sense.
Okay. Thank you.
With that comment, my impression at the time was they were talking about crack seal, which that is the debatable one.
Okay.
So most chip seals, you'll find it's pretty much the known standard
understand
for
what chip
keeping
seal is?
that road life up.
I remember the conversation though, so.
Yeah.
My bike.
Yeah.
Like my road,
Crack
you
seals.
couldn't chip
debated.
seal or crack seal my road
No.
anymore. It is,
Yeah.
it is so far
No,
gone.
I'm done. I
Hey,
got that.
Dave, I had some questions.
So the 800,000, is that what we're receiving right now? All these funds, this is what potentially we could use
That's
Or
what we've been using.
We have been using $800,000.
Towards roads projects. It hasn't all gone towards chip seal because we do have critical projects that it's just prioritized as best as possible.
So
at
some
Tyson.
years, you save up some of the balances from all of those
Yeah.
different sources, and that's how we did 4,300 that came in at like 1.2. But you're generally around there because you're trying to save a balance for those bigger reconstructions.
So we've done, Weaver High Drive was 3 or 4 years ago. We ground it down, did it. Pleasant View Drive was 3 years ago.
Yeah, we've pretty much
Yeah,
come
and-
across the whole Pleasant.
And so
View Drive.
Pleasant View Drive has been, so those are major projects, and then, so we have one or two major projects, depending on the budget. And then, the other little things, and a couple years ago or 3 years ago, I told Tyson, let's, instead of doing just major projects, let's do a bunch in different neighborhoods so that people actually can see something good. And, they did have an entryway off of 400.
Yeah.
And it's really nice, but now after that, it's gravel, and so it's just,
Yeah.
was that a waste probably, but it made me feel good. So thanks, Tyson, for
For
doing that.
perspective.
Yeah.
Just let.
Yeah, so the other question I have is the sales tax, is that coming from fuel?
Yes, well,
Does the city get a fuel sales tax?
That's class B.
That is the,
That is the
that's the
class
class
C,
C?
yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm wondering
Gas
about
tax, and
that.
That's been lowered, so I don't know how it's gonna affect us. They've just lowered the.
You know what? Yeah, I don't understand why,
Like this
the
gas-
state's so easy to do that when,
Cause they don't,
because it's easy to cut back. I think the state has to more.
that's
skin
what, that's
when
what,
it
that's
comes
why,
to our roads,
well,
I
that's
think.
why we pay more gas prices, cause our taxes are high.
Yeah.
Compared to Wyoming or someplace else, so
Yeah, yeah.
they felt that was the thing to do, and I didn't have any say, so.
The other question I have with the third is that you've had a third party investigate or do the roads.
Yes,
They
the
come out,
analysis.
they come out with cameras, go across the roads, they.
Right.
do it in.
it's Tyson super.
Yeah,
supervised it.
so they come out, they have the camera system, and then they have that program built in.
Right.
They have their reviewing staff, and then once they completed all the city streets, then we kind of went through and looked for errors or issues with anything that came out in that map. So that's our iWork tool. So it was part of the RS Evalu creation back in 2015. So when I came in, you're supposed to be updating the program as you do that maintenance. So you have a better data set to do those determinations for your road projects. But most of it hadn't been being updated as they were doing projects through the years. And so the
And-
goal is now to keep that updated as we do projects. So you have to have as big of a struggle to update your fees in the future and hopefully build bigger, better projects that your money is spent better.
Yeah, and so you're basing what we do every year off of that list that you have, iWorks, the list that.
Yeah, so
These-
that's,
these are the
it's
worst
mapping
roads.
the RSL value, and then you can basically put in that I have X dollars, and it's generating here's the list of roads that fall into this classification and meet the RSL bit for
So
crack seal or.
So Tyson, that
repair.
helps prioritize then which ones go first, is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
and then staff would go out, and so some of them, because the program doesn't know where your water line deficiencies are, so then staff takes it and sort of shifts it around based off of your other utility need issues. If we know we're gonna tear it up in, the 5-year budget plan, most of those we wouldn't redo anything or do treatment at all. So that's where a lot of roads, like in your older areas, you have water main deficiency, a stormwater deficiency that we know as staff that we're gonna tear up in the near future. And so a lot of those you won't do until the utility issues addressed first.
Hey, Sarah?
Just for perspective or whatever, the average, just to do asphalt, it's about $1 million, just an asphalt, overlay for 1 mile. Just on average, what I Googled.
Mm.
Pleasant View City's got 85 miles of road, improved road from what I remember our last conversation.
That's probably closer to building a mile of road.
Right. And so, just for perspective, the expense of what it costs, you would think that, oh, it doesn't cost, no, it's ridiculous. The amount that it costs to maintain and repair roads. So, just perspective.
Do we receive Prop 1 funds? And were those included in this analysis?
I put everything from the budget just with the way it was,
Yeah.
and that might be what's considered sales
Okay,
tax.
that I was
I
wondering.
think that's the sales tax one, and then the fuel taxes in the Class B and C. Those are just the line items from the budget. And to Sarah's point, something we're facing too is development costs have gone up. That means all of our utility and materials and construction have skyrocketed in the last 10 years. So the cost is, it has got quite higher. We're stabilizing now. We're seeing some really good bids right now, which is promising. But there was a huge spike in construction costs in the last 10 years. And so the recommendation from 10 years ago, they went from $0 to $30 in $5 increments. And that, and gave the same analysis that I did, but that's what's presented before.
So the steps since then, and I think that's what Ann's referencing is the impact fee. So we did pass that, and that's part of the equation of finding funding because we were using a lot of money from other sources or the C to deal with developments and such. So that's where that passing that impact fee, it's been a couple years now. That was what that one was, and that is a timeline like your enterprise fund impact fees where you have an obligation to spend it by X timeline. But this one was a little more flexible.
All right, well, thank you. I think or Johnny. do you have
Just a comment after my first comment, after looking at this more carefully. I understand it now what you're saying, that transportation, the tough fee is that the property tax, sales tax and Class C, those funds are on top of the tough fee. So when you update the tough fee from $4 to say $15, that's where the change is the difference. It's not an investment or it's not like a return on investment type decision that we're making here. It's just, it's a base and then everything else in this assumption would stay the same. The other inputs of property tax, sales tax and Class C funds would remain the same unless we decide to make those changes. Is that?
Well, we don't change those.
Yeah.
What's
So-
the next step?
Yeah.
Here.
And that's why I wanted to ask is, I'm going to finish this report. I'll just present the information and then obviously you'll make the decision on what you want for your fee. Is there, other than the studies I've done, are there any specific fee amounts you want me to analyze, bond amounts? I did look at a $10 million bond, which is a lot, but that would get your neighborhood roads looking better. But I tried to find something that seemed easier to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, we have water to take care of and things like that. I just don't think we're gonna,
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever entertain.
I don't see a benefit of, I mean, there's initial benefit that's the cost of money now versus later, but you still had to pay that back and then you're back in the same boat when you're
Yeah.
done.
So when you're done, your roads will be in better condition. And so that you could, if you look at the study, you'll see that. And you don't need to do that, but it would be less money. You'd get more bang for your buck because you'd be paying back the bond and having less deterioration over time. So in 10 years, your roads would be in better condition. But-
And I don't necessarily agree with the timeframes because that's a variable that, I mean, we put it out there, but not much has changed in 10 years now. I mean, we're still kind of in the same position. Roads have deteriorated, yes, but you know, to say in 10 years we're going to be on gravel, I don't think that's true. But the concept is right, that we need to maintain them and elevate them, and move out of the negative into some sort of a positive. So thank you, and we're going to move on, I believe, but, well, sorry if you did, I'm sorry, but the decision that we're going to have to make is this something you want to do moving forward? Because we are in the hole and it's going to be a tough decision.
I know, it gets you.
It's going to be a tough decision to talk about these roads, but it is something that I think we're going to have to do. Whether, and it's, you know, it's a good idea to put it to the public. Even if we didn't, maybe, you know, we don't try to sneak it in there, but we want to have public comment. and really explain what we're going to do and what we have to do. Because this is what governments do, is take care of roads and things that the city in itself, the residents in and of themselves cannot take care of as a whole. So anyway, thank you. I think we're good. We're good.
Mayor, question that related to, is this secondary to the garbage can issues, is this the second most complained about thing in the city?
No, but
not.
it's high.
It's high, yeah, but
Okay.
it's not, yeah, it's not.
Well, we have to address the road. I feel like. this
Yeah,
is
roads are, I mean,
Yes.
we're doing a disservice to everybody if put it off for another 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, because it is, just like Dave talked about, the costs are more expensive now than they were 10 years ago. So that's why I said at the very beginning, I wish I would have had a little more guts to go forward with something better, because we would have been further ahead had we done $7 versus $4. But anyway, thank you. Let's go into item number 5. Sarah, thank you very much. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you'd like, unless we're being charged by the hour. You can,
You're getting billed, so.
then you can go ahead and go. Thank you very much. Preliminary subdivision, discussion of possible action to approve a preliminary subdivision approval for the subdivision of 2 vacant parcels of land, Weaver County parcels. The numbers are there. Located east of I-15, at approximately 2700 north. Presenter Andrea, thank you.
Yeah, and I hope you have the amended agenda, because the next, what, 5, 6, 7 are now, all have to do with the same, the same development. So, so we'll start with the preliminary subdivision approval. When this was initially presented to, engineering, it was indicated that this could go forward as a minor subdivision. As we got down the road, we just wanted to bring it to planning commission and city council just as a formality, just to cover our bases, and get this approved. So the development is the one that is crosses Far West and Pleasant View boundaries, behind the Maverick there on 2700 north. Our portion of it is 8.01 acres there at what we call the shark fin. So just north of all of the Far West and Pleasant View boundary. It's currently zoned MCM, and this has gone through many, many rounds of engineering, and reviews. And, it went to the planning commission. They recommended, preliminary approval of the subdivision. We did have one nay vote. Commissioner Gosner didn't like the way that the roads were laid out. But they're kind of stuck to that configuration where the winery road is already in there. That's the part that he didn't like of it, but staff would recommend approval of the, preliminary approval of the subdivision.
And I know you guys don't know a lot about it, but I've heard this on and on and on and on and on, so I'm tired of hearing about it, but any questions?
The parcels are just the road now though, right?
No,
Yeah, if you look at those 2 parcels, is it subdivided just already to the road? You pull those parcels up in Weaver County, it shows the road and then the little sliver next to the road.
parcels are gonna be that lot 1.
It's that,
It's the
Start
whole,
with that,
it's
yeah.
the whole 8 acres?
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, wow, it's interesting. I didn't, it doesn't show in Weaver County. That's why I was wondering. You look up those parcels. Anyway,
so that should have been this parcel here and then the road here, because we've given land use authority with that interlocal agreement to the little sliver below the road.
okay.
And it may not go all the way up to the top, right? Or is it?
So the detention basin is going to be on the north end of that
so-
triangle there.
so it might not be
And
all.
then this would be a commercial, development.
Up here, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Like I said, it's gone through many iterations back and forth with engineers. And both cities, we get on a weekly call with this and have knocked out all of the concerns. And are ready to move forward on it.
so I don't know that all the details of the utilities that go through this, but have we, I mean, there's a canal, there's railroad, we border all of that, right?
Uh-huh.
And they've all been contacted, they know what we're doing at the subdivision?
Right now, we're only doing this piece right here.
Right.
And this subdivision on the far west part comes down and to the Pleasant View border. So all of the 1740 west, it will be approved on a separate plat as we're working on some property acquisition down there. As far as the north goes, we purchased a piece of property from Union Pacific and have gotten a line crossing agreement with Tesoro or Marathon right there. So we're covered on this north side.
Okay.
Well, we're covered on the
So
top.
what's the rest of
And
the,
on the bottom, too, but just-
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
it was public hearing before, or no, or did it need one? I guess it probably, I'm assuming it wasn't planning commission. Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember if we had a public hearing. We had a public hearing on the development. agreement. I know that for sure.
Yes.
I
Yes,
believe,
there
I
was a
believe we
public
have a
hearing
hearing
because I
on
was
both of
here.
them.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I zoomed in, so.
Yes, there was a public hearing.
So I'm not gonna make the motion like I did last week.
You'd
I've
like to
learned-
make a motion?
I've learned my lesson.
You can
I
entertain a
would
motion.
entertain a motion.
That's microphone.
Mayor, make a motion that we approve preliminary subdivision of the two vacant parcels of land in Weaver County as listed in our notes here.
I'll second the motion.
Do we have a motion and a second? Any other comments? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we're okay with that? All right, this is the next big one. And we have- Thank you. We have some representatives here from Whitsonia and Target today, so if there's any questions that way, but we've also, I feel this development agreement has been through many
It has been beat to death.
back and forth. It was brought before the planning commission as well. Passed, and I mean, it's just for all the time and effort that we put into it from Pleasant. Again, I thank the staff, Tammy, Dana, everybody that's gone through this for very little benefit to Pleasant View. It's just, I'm glad that we're to this point. Anyway, item number 6 is the development agreement, discussion of possible action to approve the development agreement for the commercial development project in Pleasant View City and Far West. And of course, the applicant is here. I'm gonna turn it over to Andrea to explain if you want, or
Yeah, I would like to. So this development agreement that comes before you tonight is a little different than the ones that you've seen coming in the past. This one doesn't affect any land use decisions. So we're not talking about slope like with Grand Legacy or lot sizes with, or, the housing component with Link. This is specifically designed for us to determine how some specific funding is dispersed. So a couple years back, before I was here, Far West and Pleasant View jointly applied for some WACOG funding in order to put this connectivity road through from Jimmy John's around towards the freeway and then back up by the winery. The WACOG funding was awarded and then the development came in. Where the road comes across on both of the east-west sections, so from Jimmy John's across and then up above
I would say north and south.
with our east-west roads.
Okay, but the north and south portion of the.
Yes, they're the north and south
Turn into.
portions of the development, but they are the east-west
Oh.
roads, okay? Anyways,
East and west routes, north and south.
of the development, yes. So the standard for construction development is a 70-foot wide road. The cities would like the developer to put in an 80-foot wide road instead, or right of way, I guess. Instead of the standard 70. So that's where WACOG funding is going to be available to the developer to compensate for that extra 10 foot of right of way and improvement that we've asked them to do. Because it was set up before I started here, Pleasant View is the administrator of the WACOG funding. So this just lays out how the developer will submit their bills to us for these improvements. We'll go ahead and make sure that they along with this cost sharing schedule that was on the back of your packet. And then we'll disperse those funds to the developer. we'll submit it to WACOG. WACOG sends us a reimbursement and then that money is dispersed to the developer.
Isn't rule on white, that's 80 feet, right?
Yes, and it
Yeah.
was also done
So
with
it
WACOG
matches
funding.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was done in a very similar fashion.
Definitely upsized, we're asking for the
Right.
upsize.
Right.
Right.
Or
So
other-
then-
Other uses hopefully will come out.
And then based on their traffic impact study, 2700 North is going to have to be widened. UDOT felt it was necessary to put in 2 left turn lanes on there at 1740 West. So they're gonna have to widen that road. The developer has asked UDOT for participation in that widening. UDOT agreed to a 250,000 disbursement. However, they will only disperse that to a government agency. So again, they would disperse that to us, we disperse it to the developer.
And then did we already approve that last week or 2 weeks ago, something?
The widening?
No, the 2,700, the UDOT money. I thought we
No.
already, we approved the agreement. Yeah, I've already approved that.
So that's basically the meat, this development agreement is just on how we're dispersing those funds. It does have in there a piece of where the 1740 West comes in by Jimmy John's, that the city will diligently pursue acquiring that land. That's a portion of this. But we are currently trying to negotiate the mobile home park owners for that piece. The developer did get a deed from a private owner as part of that section. We are closing next week on the Union Pacific piece, and then we have the crossing with Tesoro. So in that one little chunk there, we had 4 different entities that we had to deal with there. So we're currently working on that, but I think we're seeing the light at the end of that tunnel here. Like I said, that plat's gonna come back for approval separately, once all of that land is acquired. But in this agreement, we do agree to still pursue that land acquisition. So,
So I think we're in a good place to do that. I don't see that
yeah,
going south.
questions on?
Seeing none, and I don't think we need to have what's only talk and discussion from them. I'd entertain.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the development agreement as stated on our agenda, item 6.
Have a motion,
I'll second the motion.
a motion, a second. Any other comments? Not, I would. This is a roll call. Would entertain a roll call. I was just gonna say that. Let's go, Sean,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Johnny.
Yes.
All right, that passes unanimously. You all right with that?
That is down or you got, she got it. She's got it, I guess.
Yeah, she got it.
Okay.
You're, yeah. I scribble and she doesn't care. She has her own minutes anyway. All right, and with this, and this was why we had our amended agenda. We were gonna have to put this franchise agreement on in 2 weeks. We amended the agenda for this. Matt did a great job. And Matt's been sick, deathly ill, his family. And so Stetson, I don't know if you really want to be sitting there. But he did a really good job of getting all the paperwork and different things together to be able to put this on this agenda, kind of get these things done. So the franchise agreement, Andrea.
Okay, so this franchise agreement is between us and the developer. It's like anytime that we grant a franchise agreement to like a fiber company or Rocky Mountain Power. They are installing their lines under our public right of way. So we have to have this franchise agreement in place. This again has gone back and forth between our attorney, the developer's attorney, and it's gotten to a place where it's acceptable to both parties. So it's again, just another formality agreement that we have to approve in order for them to run their secondary water system lines under our public right of way.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion. I'm not gonna make a motion, but I'll entertain that motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve a franchise agreement with Sonia Far West LC.
We have a motion by Dave,
Second that motion.
second by Sarah. It's a roll call too. We should just do roll calls all the way along. Johnny?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Sarah? Tom?
Yes.
Yeah, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. I think we're down to one thing, maybe, I don't know, or, I don't know. We gotta sign tonight. We'll get that signature tonight afterwards, but this has been so tough. I just, again, I admire, because they're dealing with two cities, two different things. It's just extremely difficult, and hopefully it'll be beneficial and we'll get stuff out of it, so thank you. All right, Tyson, number 8, property acquisitions for Skyline Drive. Another use of our good WACOG funds.
Absolutely. So the offer was presented from the JC. They declined the cost to cure. So it came back at the 51,200. This is a property located in the Skyline Drive project, top of 4,300 between 5 and 9 on the north side. This will be the last of the active willing. Will have met with everybody in the phase 2 section of the project. And either have a declined or accepted offers. So they did request to remove item 12.1 or 12.4 where they were paying the, oh, I forget the term, sorry. We did it on the previous 3, and it was okayed by WACOG with their funding. So that number, they is approximately $2,500, but you don't know the amount until their lien holders at the title process go over. So that was part of their accepting it, was us removing that from the contract and covering that cost, which we did do for the previous, a couple of the previous ones. So at the amount of the 51,200 meets WACOG's willing seller, and recommend moving forward and wrap up the last of these parcels.
Any questions with that? Been a long road thing too. Don't know if I'll ever see the road in my. That's the whole round.
Yeah, it's like,
It'll be something for the
But we
future.
find a lot more money.
I thought we'd get it done in my first term, but
So
This did wrap up large sections.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the property acquisition at 540 West, 4,300 North.
Motion by Dave,
Second.
second by,
I think we tried, Ann.
Go ahead, Sarah.
second by Sarah. And this is a roll call as well, I would assume, because we're buying property. Oh, gosh. Sarah,
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Sean.
Yes.
Johnny.
Yep.
And,
Yes.
okay, that passes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, parking and backing policy. You need a policy to back up,
Yeah.
Tyson. Sorry, Mike.
This was identified with the safety committee. It's recommended through the trust. It's part of our empowering safety program where you get the rebate for meeting all of their safety guidelines from our insurance. We took the template, reviewed it as a safety committee. The only change was on the recommended use. Not putting out cones every time we park. Just with the nature of police, because this is citywide policy and public works meter reading, we left it in as a recommended practice, depending on what your scenario is. Projects, we usually put cones, or if you're in an emergency, we have a lot of that, so we left that part more of a use your better judgment with our other safety practices while having an acceptable policy to meet the empowering safety program.
So does, you have to meet this to save the money on the insurance?
So because the city didn't have a formal policy for these items.
But they don't
uh,
have, you don't have any requirements, like the cones are not required in that.
No, it's just recommended now. That was the.
Well, that's what,
change.
yeah, that's what you're showing, but the insurance.
No,
they don't-
I confirmed with our insurance group that that wasn't a requirement. That it was created from a boilerplate, so I think you see Enbridge do that a lot, like the gas company. There's
Yeah,
some of them that do practice it, so it's out there, but for what the municipal use is doing.
yeah,
Yeah, that's where a lot of that comes from. I get the use and what the idea behind it is. But for what we're doing, you'd be losing a considerable amount of time for
100%.
very little gain, would think.
I'd like to, I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking, I guess, why is it even in here? Because I don't think anybody's ever
So we could have struck it. It was just
just leave it
leave it
recommended.
as recommended and
Okay.
it would be reviewed. So if you had an incident with our new review practices for incidents, you know, if that came up, it would be part of the conversation or but not a requirement. So the next goal, if you approved it, we'd push it out to staff, make them aware of it. A lot of it, I think most try to do just with our equipment and trucks. There's some that's a little more formal, like the spotter, but
But the spotter, is that required or
it's
it's still recommended or?
yes, it's still when available. So if you're in a situation where you need to back up and you don't have somebody with you, you can still back out with
Yeah, I was just thinking like,
passenger.
like snow plows, you guys are backing out of
Yes.
hundreds of times a trip and you're not gonna have a spotter. or something like
Yeah.
that.
So I feel like most of it beats what we're doing or at least is manageable or comparable to what are considered standard practices already.
Just one last question for me. Does everybody, would everybody follow it? They're all agree to follow it? Because I don't think it's good to implement it if everybody's not gonna.
That would be the goal. So meeting in the safety committee is myself, police, Andrea, Laurie, the office. So everybody, every department's having some take on it. So the goal would be to push it out and implement it where possible. And then I think with how we're managing that program at this point, if you started to have issues or pushback, we have sort of a review process. Somebody's having an issue repeatedly. So I think we would have an element to address it and make changes.
Yeah, I just want to be on the record. I am 100% for safety and I don't want to see anybody ever get hurt. So that's good, but I just want to make sure we vetted it, that everybody's willing to follow the process, so.
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe we're on board and it'll be put out to staff and has to be worked through and implemented into the day-to-day applicable. And so I'm sure we'll get plenty of questions just like this. So most of the department as a whole hasn't seen it on this level, but we would always welcome feedback for it if it's not working or somebody's having an issue with it.
That's all I have. I think
I think on the circle of safety, I'm not sure if we can or not, but I mean, when we get a hot call, we're not gonna go walk around our truck first and then get in it to go. I mean, like today, I had a call across the street. It's like, they're waiting for me. I'm not gonna do the circle of safety walk before I go. So I don't know if we need to add some language in there, like when applicable or I just don't wanna have something happen and then call the guys and say, well, you didn't follow this policy that was, but there's already enough stuff, but it's the only problem that I had with it was just that I just don't see officers when they get that hot call, they're not gonna go out and walk around their vehicle first and then go.
So do we need to change the language for that? Because
I don't know if we can. I guess I didn't really understand. I missed that it said drivers must. I thought it said
Sure.
when I initially read it, but that's just my thoughts.
And I think, I mean, this is a dilemma for me too. We want to have safety, we want to be safety minded with everything we do. You know, but we'd hate to be, you know, having a truck parked and having little kids somewhere by there and, you know, running them over or something like that. So it's good to do it, but must do it. I don't know. You know, that.
Maybe the timing,
And these policies, I mean, very similar to what Dave said, you know, policy is, that's our policy now. And it sounds like these are going to be suggestions versus a policy. I don't know.
I mean, you could just put drivers should perform. I think this is the standard one that the trust sends out as
Yeah.
part of that program. That they're requiring.
Because we want good practices all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, best practices is what we expect. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, did this go through our legal?
not this one.
So, cause it's it is their standard policy that the trust, like I said, it's that. The Franklin County, they're requiring basically every city to adopt this if they don't.
And so the purpose of this procedure is to establish guidelines to follow that may prevent an accident or injury when parking or backing a city vehicle. So I don't know.
I think may is an appropriate word just because if you declare that it will prevent an accident,
Uh,
you're setting yourself up for liability. Would that be correct, Matt?
It can be.
So.
But again, best practices with everything we do, parking, driving,
Right.
obeying the speed limit, and all those things are an important part of what we do. And so anyway.
There's quite a few other musts on the prepare to back in there too.
Yeah,
That
it's
it-
not all
Yeah.
suggestive, every item.
Cindy Comfort, the LDS church makes people back there to hanging out. And then, yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, and I'm really okay with the must, other than, I just don't wanna have that situation where you get a hot call. Guys
So-
go out and walk around their car first.
My understanding with the cone conversation is it's her policy, so I don't, maybe if you added a emergency exception, and we pass it, it's still the city's policy. And then I can vet it through them and bring it back if it's an issue for the program. I think that would be a reasonable way to do it. So we have the policy, it meets it. And then we put in that exception tonight, and then I can just quickly vet that out with them tomorrow. Worst case, I come back the next meeting and ask or let you know that they had an issue with it, and maybe we'll have some other suggestions with what they say.
Yeah, so they're just requiring the city to adopt a vacuum policy.
Well, I get it.
Doesn't have to be, they provide an example.
But you provide a backing policy
Yeah.
or parking policy,
Yeah.
then you adhere to that policy.
Yes,
And there's not a lot of wiggle room in it
correct.
because it's a policy. So
Yeah.
you
and so-
should do these things, but
And you can put that language in there,
I mean, what-
should, and then where those signs exist, it gives that discretion to that safety committee when they're. doing
but I'm
accidents.
hoping that the police, as they're zipping off, that they are checking on their vehicle a little bit. That I mean, that they are safe in what they do, no matter what the emergency, you know? You shall stop at a red light, or you must stop at a red light. No, we're gonna go right, we're gonna blow right through it. If we have our lights and sirens on.
Constance, would you-
If I'm late for work,
You're gonna go through the red line.
I'm just kidding.
Don't admit that in public.
Well, and I would say there's usually there's usually emergencies that give you exceptions from other agencies, so. I'm
This just follows all of it.
emergency scenario.
Anyway, do you want any fixed things on? This? Do we adopt this with, what do you want to do?
And just, that would be my recommendation, that way, when you do have that emergency, that you're not having an officer violate policy every time. So I would just say, should, or you have a emergency exception if you want to have.
You need to define what emergency exception.
I don't,
I would say just change it to should.
Good.
I
On
would
all
should.
of them, all.
There's stuff-
references to
there's-
must.
No, that's
Say-
for the
If you go to the next section, it's pretty explicit on the must.
Well, the prepare to back, like clearing your windows, that's a must, right? I mean, I think that we could leave that one, but the spotter says must if available.
Yeah, and like on the prepare to back, like a lot of that, the new trucks shut down your phones, radios, the conversations. They
Yeah.
should. I know that's come up in some of our backing incidents in the past where people were backing up and having a, conversation either on the phone or with the passenger and ran into bollards. And so some of that's where, well, I guess for me to deal with that in the future, this policy does give you means if it becomes a reoccurring issue to deal with that.
So that's the only one that we'd want to remove, the circle of safety one must, right? That's the only one I can see.
The next one, the prepared to back, the reason I was, I mean, cause I read through it and I was okay with the must in that, because with our trucks, the ones we have now, in order to be on your phone or doing something like that while you're in reverse, like you literally have to have your phone in your hand. Cause when I put my car in reverse, everything shuts off other than the backup camera.
Really?
Yeah. And so that's why I was like, well, okay, we can leave that in there because, and it's the same on all of our vehicles. So, that's why, because in order for them to use the phone or whatever while they're in reverse, they have to be like, they have to unhook the Bluetooth and be on their phone.
That's just the feature in the vehicle, or is that the police stuff?
Even-
Okay, This is. features,
Even the
okay.
plows, all the newer plows do it. That
Same,
shut
yeah.
your Bluetooth off. If you're backing up in a plow even.
Okay.
Remove the distraction.
Mayor, we ready to make a motion? Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the parking and backing policy 2026-2, with the exception of the circle of safety section, removing must to should, or replacing must to should.
We have a motion by Dave with the changes.
I'll second.
Have a second by Ann, thank you. We'll probably have to do a roll call with this one as well.
What is-
And we're referencing 2026-2. Hey, Johnny,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Okay, that passes.
Thank you.
Okay, number 10. We have Ashley here too from the public. Sorry, the very last one. I didn't realize you're gonna be here, sorry. No, go ahead. Acquisition with the pool amendment? No.
Just saying hello.
So last fall, we approved, an acquisition agent pool, for different companies when we acquire property, then we go out and see which agents can do that. And we have and for a certain price. Avenue Consultants was a good platform. There's just updating their price table, which is in here, and should have the previous one. But I don't think that they called everything out specifically in the original contract. But these are in line with the other ones on our pool. And depending on what acquisition, we don't have to go with them if the others will do it for a lower price.
So it doesn't mean you have to go with them, it just adds them to the pool. Okay.
So this would be amending the contract that we already have.
Mayor, I make a motion that we amend the acquisition pool agreement with Avenue Consultants.
Second.
You have a motion, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right. Little Mike. As you're known by, you're getting bigger, so we're gonna have to change that.
Glad we don't have 3 mics anymore.
So garbage cans is one of those things that we've been kicking the can down the road. And I hope you guys can make a decision tonight on what's best. I've asked Mike to go out and get some different things. Republic was, they gave us or lent us a Schaefer can, which is the gray one. We have the toter can, which is the black to the west, and we have the existing can, the rotation molded cans there. I think it's gonna be appropriate for you to take a look at them for just a minute before we have the presentation. Would that be fair, Mike?
Yeah, that'll work. Is there anything inside of them?
No. These are brand new. I'm gonna-
Make sure to get new clean ones.
Behind door what?
The blue cans that we have, are they the Schaefer cans, the newer? What
Visual
what
Aid.
brand are those?
So all of ours that we have are still rotational moldings. So they're just like
I
the
have
middle
one that
one.
looks just like that.
So does it say Econo Waste on it? So Econo Waste,
But it's not
Switch
a
over.
rotomolded one from Brigham. It's
no,
different.
it's,
Ejection.
I think theirs is Schaefer's. I think that's what,
Yeah,
Econo Waste.
so it's
switched
pretty
over.
much the same.
Yeah. I wanna see you, what's that date? Then, we will see the.
So basically the lifetime warranty. That one is the 10-year warranty. That one's the 12-year warranty. Both reservations, they have actually this one.
No, but again, I don't.
Actually, you wanna, tell me thing about the process. This is, yeah.
It's like the charter.
So everybody, so this is Ashley from Republic, this Schaefer can, you talk about Schaefer. First the one that Ann's talking with, that's what Bobby used that, Ogden City used that one.
So they're not able, they're originally 100 gallons. That one's 96 with the size.
So.
5 gallons.
Anyway, just I want you to look at it, you hold the mics, station will talk a little about some of the warranties and things that go on, so everybody have a good.
Excited, we'll push it around and see how about you.
Anybody got some concrete? Right. Except for you'll get.
Yes.
And don't go forget it. No, no. It's, that's this presentation, it's still user error, manufacturer error, or service. You can't just say, oh, it broke, I want to move one, oh, it broke 2 months later, I want to use it. So you want better quality. There's this presentation. He's done. That, and you are gonna address that, right? As far as how that works, you don't get to replace it as many times as you want, it has to
Not
be.
so much here, cause I'll have to bring it back,
Okay.
and then we'll discuss that.
Is that-
Hey, Mike.
One of my big questions.
Once the garbage and they all smell the same? Like one that's scented, is there a scented option?
Now, this is one of Mike's presentations. He was a little nervous, but I'm so proud of him. And I think we can be very happy. So give him all the hell that you can.
Very good.
Baptism by fire.
Okay, so for context for
Just a
number,
second, let's get the presentation up.
oh.
Do we want Mike to come to the podium or is he okay with where he is right now?
He's good where he is.
I think we should go to the podium.
Oh, no,
Mike, come on up.
he's the guy. He's done a lot of work for us.
Oh,
Lighting.
Okay, never mind. Technical difficulties will spare you this time.
I got you, Mike. I got you.
Thank you.
You hear you much better right there.
You've got two mics. You can pick.
In stereo.
I feel like I'm.
Okay.
Okay. So for context for 2025, we ended up replacing 161 cans. That's both garbage and recycle. You can see the monthly breakdown. We did see a significant jump up in the colder months as the cans get colder and whatnot. But on average, we were replacing about 13 a month. So for the first option, we just have rotational molding, and that's the container that we're currently using. I basically took this number, the price of the can, and broke it up over a 15-year period. That's about the lifespan that we're seeing with the rotational molding containers. We're looking at a 5-year warranty with those. They are a little bit bigger can, listed as 100 gallons. When we've ordered these historically, we've ordered less than 100 cans, so storage isn't necessarily needed because of our size holding those. It is a rotational molded can. We've been using these cans for over 25 years. They've been pretty good for us. If we do go with this option, we do want to recommend doing a code change because of the low 5-year warranty compared to the other options, just so we don't have a homeowner replacing their can outside of that 5-year warranty that's not covered under the manufacturer. And then the fee change would be required for the breaking it out over the 15 years, but that would break it down to 74 cents per container, taking your existing rate of $15.50 to $16.24 for garbage, and then your extra garbage can is at $16.50, taking it up to $17.24. And then the recycling from $7.50 to $8.24 per container, and then the extra container from $8.50 to $9.24, just taking that up 74 cents per month. For the toter can, you're looking at $71.12 per container. It's listed as a 96-gallon container. With these next two options, the ordering number, because they're out of state and not a local manufacturer, the shipping amount is a lot higher. With the new property down off of Highway 89 3000, that's where we're going to utilize kind of more storage to move stuff up here. So we can pack in more garbage cans and recycle cans. The toter, it's a rotational molding process as well. I asked around, everyone said that they last right around the 15 years. I don't know by experience, obviously, without having them, but the company was established in 1962. The toter cans are compatible with the Republic trucks. They don't have any problems picking it up and whatnot. For the 15-year period, you're looking at 40 cents per container, and that would take up your rates at 40 cents across the board, just like, yeah, what they did with the rotational moldings. With the Schaefer can, you are looking $53.14 per container, with a little bit
lower warranty or a 10-year warranty. And a little bit smaller, labeled at 95 gallons a container. This order number is a little bit higher as well at 403, so it's 4 times what we are currently ordering right now. And this one's the injected molded. This is the same container that Republic uses. Again, compatible with the trucks. This one is the fiscally responsible option, looking at a 30-month increase per container.
Oh, 30 cents,
30 cents, sorry, what did I say?
30 month.
30 month. I was looking at month.
Oh, good.
And then these are a couple options, getting away from us just getting the cans and looking at more towards having Republic manage our cans. They're thinking of per can, they can get pretty close to about $100 per can. I think Ashley can touch on this a little bit if you have any further questions. The thing about this one is we would still own the cans. They would manage everything from ordering to storing, so the city would no longer have to worry about storage of cans. Republic would then come out, deliver and replace on about a weekly basis to start, and if it needs increase or less, depending on the 13 cans that we're replacing a month. This plan is a little flexible on how it's working with them. Some complications that we foresee is probably some tracking. I know they've delivered some cans out in the system and we're having a hard time locating those, just how the tracking is. But yeah, and then if you break that to the 15-year period, you're looking at 56 cents per can a month. And then,
Sorry.
Yep.
Back on that one, are they in that $100 per container? Is there an additional fee for doing the managing, or is that looped into the 100 per container?
As far as like X cans
Well,
or
so where they're 100 per container, is them doing the deliveries and placement, that's all looped in?
yeah, that's all looped in. So if they come out and replace a can, it'll be $100 and they'll bill that every month. So if they come out, well, yeah, $100 per can, but they'll bill that at the end of the month. So say they do 13 cans that month, it'll be $1,300.
Their delivery fee.
That's
That's
within
included,
the
included
100,
in one.
yeah.
Because the cans are 65, right? That's the price that. What did you say?
50,
Oh,
53. 53.
Thank
This next option was Republic managed again, but this is Public owning all of the containers with a 5-year replacement plan throughout the city. We tried to look at the city still owning the containers, but Republic doesn't think that that'll be a feasible option for us. So their recommendation for that would be that they own the cans, they work a deal for the 5-year replacement can of all the city's cans, which is about 5,828. With this, contract rates that we have already would change, as well as both of these options for that last one. Amending the contract with Republic. This one would also increase the rate to the homeowners per container anywhere from $1.50 to $2 to make that 5-year replacement plan work. Again, this is all on Republic. They own the cans, maintains. One of the problems that staff sees with that is if we don't renew the contract with Republic or they leave, we would be stuck with replacing all of those cans up front with that cost, because they would take their cans when they go, or we work out a deal with them.
Mike, you said there was 5,828 cans.
Ye-
Does that include recycle? That's everything?
Yes, that's every container in the system.
Cool.
And yeah, that would, yeah. So, and for all these options, a fee schedule would need to be adjusted to break it out for that 15-year period. So you're looking at a monthly increase on a resident for rotational molding, which is our current container, of $1.48 per month. The toter can would be 80-cent increase per month. And then the Schaefer, which is the lowest cost, would be a 60-month increase. With the Republic options, these are subject to change due to the contract with them and being amended and everything. But rough numbers for those would be the owned containers looking at $1.11 increase monthly. And then the other option for the 5-year replacement with Republic owning the can, you're looking 3 to 5 month increase with a potential increase to the pickup fee as well on that.
So I want to make a couple comments just to begin with before we have our discussion. Is that okay? One of the bad things about this is we don't have a pool of money generally to upfront cost to get the cans. Which, you know, I don't know if we're replacing whatever it is, but the residents are going to pay no matter what. They're either going to buy the can up front, which is what we've been doing. As they break, then they, you know, diesel owns them, but I think that's the dilemma that we've experienced so far. You know, it gets damaged by Republic or the wind or the cold or whatever it is, you buy the can. So the Schaefer can, if we just had them buy it, $35 or 36 or whatever it is. But we have to store them. That's a big issue. You know, so you have to discuss that. Second thing, I want to get, and I think we're going to get rid of recycling in Pleasant View. I think it's a cost that we're not getting any benefit from. It's nice to feel good about putting recycling things in. I think the majority of the recycling is cardboard. So I'd really love to have a cardboard program, to have something. But the recycling costs us, and that was not in your stuff here, and I wish I should ask for that maybe, but there's a cost above and beyond just our regular tipping fee for recycling. It travels to Davis County, it's processed there, whatever's not used, and we have to pay a bigger fee for that. So Sean's very familiar with those types of things, but I don't know even what to recommend or have staff recommend, because it is an issue that we have to go out and even replace those 13. Time on the staff, it's time to do stuff. You know, are we going to be burned by people wanting just to replace the can because it smells? You know, what's the policy for what's damaged in that 5-year to replace it? If we charge everybody the 60 cents or 80 cents or $1.48, you know, how do you manage that? How are we going to manage it? How's staff going to manage that? I don't know if those numbers are going to be tough. And so if we turn it over to Republic, which I talked to Austin and Ash a little bit after our initial meeting that Dave and I had with Andrea, you know, some numbers were kind of thrown around. I know that Ashley says she's going to take her a minute to really put some good numbers. Are these the good numbers that, please, because I feel like that's a lot more than what we kind of talked about. And I know that you have some ability to possibly,
Yes,
Uh,
so, go through Mayor, happy birthday.
you can be dismissed because I've told everybody we're not going to talk anything about it.
So, you have some really good options here, I would say from Republic's standpoint. Just from my experience in the industry, Toter and Schaefer are good carts. We've had no issues with them. You want to talk to your neighbor, I'm sure Mike has, North Ogden uses Toter, so does Ogden. Our carts, we don't get complaints about them breaking. At least they never.
We
get-
refer to them as cans here, but
For Schaefer, same. I haven't had many issues with them either. That's why we use them. So if the city wants to go that direction, I think that will bode well for us as Republic.
I'm gonna make one comment, just stay there.
Yeah.
But our can, if you see, the lid is a lot heavier. The middle can, and that is, I think, one reason why we're having so much damage. Is it's a heavier lid, flips open. And just breaks that back. Fine. Both the Toter and the Republic, or the Schaefer, are lighter lids. You know, but as I've seen, as we talked with Ashley, you know, and they have done better by setting the cans down with the lids on. And I think, hopefully you've seen that over the last month.
Hang on, I don't, are they getting out of the truck if they don't? I haven't heard that, but I.
They got their direction. I totally think so.
Dave made a demand and I back him up. If they,
The neighbor actually took video of somebody doing that.
if they don't put them down, then it takes just 10 seconds or less to do it right. And it takes them a lot longer if they have to get out of the truck. So, and I'm very happy with Republic. This is not anything against Republic. Please don't take that. We're happy with the partnership. But you've got to make some decisions. So anyway, I interrupted you, make your things, and then I want to open this up for questions to Mike or Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley's our representative from Republic. Everybody doesn't know.
Yes, so nice to meet everybody. So those are good options if the city wants to go at it alone. That's all power to you, completely support that. The options we gave for Republic getting more involved, full transparency, I have like my decisions, then I've got my manager, then we have an area that approves things. So to give official numbers, I have to go through those channels. They're a lot more profit driven than I am. So the option that I thought maybe was a good compromise, if the city would like Republic to play a more active role with managing and storing and replacing containers, was, hey, let's just do it by, the city can schedule it out, but we can just do it by cart or can. And if the city's doing about 13 a month, then let's just schedule that and Republic can bill the city for that. That gives you some flexibility if you have some months where you don't need any. Etc. Obviously, if it turns into, hey, 500 broke this month, then that's probably not going to be feasible. We'll have to adjust. So that 100 is around there. If we're going to put an investment in and like buy and store a lot of containers, we probably need to have some type of commitment from the city that in 2 years, we're not going to get stuck with a bunch of cans on our yard. So we can talk about that, but that's pretty settled in, like that $100. For Republic just takes over all the management. That's something, and owns the containers. That's something that's like our area's interest and policy. They like it where if you're going to go and replace an entire city's cans, then Republic should own them. That's kind of where they come in. So I didn't think that would be as appetizing for the city, given I don't know if right now you have an interest in trying to replace all of your carts right now. So I just kind of put a pause on that because that will take me some time to get those numbers. It's going to be probably more expensive, honestly, like probably closer to that $250 per can. So I thought I would save everyone some time, but if it is dire enough that the city would like to just go forward and replace them all, I definitely can come back with some
And I
stronger
don't
numbers.
think we need to replace them all at this point, but there are a lot of broken ones. So that first 2 or 3 or 4 months, there's gonna be a lot more than 13, because as you drive down the road, there's a lot. 500. That are just, that are in pieces and parts, so.
Mine is one of those.
What? Anyway, so that, there is gonna be a big shock to begin with, but that goes back to, money, cause we don't have that pool built up over time to have that wholesale or, 500 or whatever that number is.
The minimum order quantity on the Schaefer would be $2,100.
Well,
or
$21,000. And I really would love to, and I know Ashley, we're gonna talk about this, but I'll manage some of the discussion with Republic, but I just don't see why, when you're ordering those cans, we could order a smaller amount. And just piggyback off of what you're doing. I don't know why that would,
So
you're ordering truckloads, we don't need a full truckload,
we have Republic cans.
right?
So those are.
No, I understand. So we'd have to buy the Schaefer can if
Yeah.
we went through you. But we wouldn't, there's this minimum order or maximum, whatever it is, 21,000 worth of cans. Why couldn't we bundle with, because you're ordering them all the time.
Yes, so we order the ones that say Republic that we own, so we'd have to get other ones that don't have Republic on it to, yeah.
It'll be Republic Services, but I don't care. I mean, I mean, I don't care about that. As long as they're numbered, they're all numbered, correct? Every
Um,
one of them are numbered? No?
I will see, we don't as often keep track of like addresses to cards, cause.
No, but they're all, every can has a number to it.
It should have a serial number.
Okay, so we have to have a serial number no matter what we get. I don't care if it's Pleasant View, I don't care if it says Republic on, honestly,
So Mayor,
Go ahead.
I had a question.
please.
So I talked to Mike Littlefield about this, and so my understanding of why we're moving forward with this, that people don't have to pay the initial cost of $135 up front. But I said, so if we increase the fee per month, how many times do you get to replace your can? If you're like, oh, well, and it told me that it goes into, again, driver error, user error, or manufacturer error. It's not an unlimited, you don't, hey, my can, I want to replace it, it broke again. And then 4 months later, I want to replace it again. It's not an unlimited amount of replaceables. It still has to fall under the umbrella of those categories, correct?
So the pricing we put forward is just, hey, the city can decide. You have that autonomy. We're just going to bill per cart. So
Okay, so
Well,
That's kind of like-
what are the warranty, I mean, 10-year warranty,
maybe you could address.
what does that mean? Cause I mean, if Republic still is manhandling our cans and they do break them before that 10-year warranty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the warranty, I would say, covers wheels, covers lids. I mean, what's replaceable on it?
it's,
Or if you guys
It's
squish
under
them
the warranty.
and it's a no,
it's supposed to
holds
be
barred
that way,
warranty.
yes. So obviously, if it's under warranty, our trucks should not be crushing them. If it's a brand new cart, then that's warranty, right? So yes, it covers that. Anything older is older. I'm trying to think of how to answer your question. Yeah, like a container falling apart, obviously normal wear and tear gets you out of.
well, 8 years down the road, that can,
If it's still under warranty, you'd get to
did
replace
you
it.
get, is it
Yeah.
replaced?
Yeah.
What is the?
So if
replacement?
it's Republic crushed and destroyed it, which we shouldn't be doing,
You drop it in the can and it gets squished.
yeah, you get a,
Not the can, the truck.
yeah. We can do definitely like a credit for that if we're eating your containers. We drop it in our truck. We're supposed to be anyway. But it depends on the specific warranty for that type of container. So-
Yeah, so for each company has their own rules basically for the warranty. And I have all that info if you want it, but basically, yeah, so for the toter can, it was like a 10-year warranty for the parts for it and then a 12-year warranty on the body.
Mm.
So again, if the garbage truck crushes it after that, then it would be out of the warranty.
What happens if Sarah backs into it, runs it over the car?
We have a new backup policy, so she
That-
won't.
Say,
Oh, you're gonna be,
somebody's.
you're gonna be fine, all right, it's gonna be fine.
I'd like to know how much time do you think staff estimate you spend on this garbage cans and, ordering them, unloading them, storing them, going and taking them to residents? Like, can you give me kind of an idea of whatever per month or how much time?
So we kind of base it off each can between the phone call, us going out and doing everything, including taking the cans up. On average, for each can broke out is about 30 minutes. And that's including.
That's per call, for a problem
Per-
call.
Yeah, so per container, all the way to, so once we get a big pile, we drive them up to rotational molding, stuff recycled. All of that is kind of just broke out, and we just go with about half hour per can between getting a phone call. And then recently, we get the phone call, and if the homeowner disputes it, then we go out, look at the can, see the can's damage, come back, report back. So right now, it's significantly higher than if we get a phone call, they say their address, the office staff just says, just leave it empty out by the street and we'll come pick it up. That would significantly clear up some of our time from not having to run out to the can, look at it back, call the homeowner back, tell them, hey, it's a $134 charge for that can.
Yeah, and we're not even accounting for office taking the call in the first place, like a Debbie or a.
So
right?
that's the half hour.
So you're saying it's significantly more than that right now, just because of the number of complaints, right?
It could, yes. It's a,
For sure.
yes.
One-time fee, yeah.
So you're doing 7,245 minutes worth of, based on 161 cans being a problem this year.
One day a month, probably. So that's my guess, what they do. One person, one full day a month is dedicated to that.
And when we're doing these cans, it's not, I mean, we are only going out when we're doing a damage assessment. But most of the time we're driving to either go do blue stakes or go do other notes,
Yeah.
read meters. So it's not specifically to just doing that garbage can, because we do it throughout the rest of our duties out within the city.
So if I take that number, the 7,245 divided by an 8-hour shift, I'm looking at like 905 shifts per year. I might be doing that right. I was just trying to figure out, kind of putting a dollar amount on what it's costing us to work with it, you know? Because I mean, it sounds like, for me personally, my first thought is, I want to get out of garbage can business. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want you guys to have to deal with it. I want Republic to take it on. I want the Republic to take the calls. I want the whole thing to go away, honestly, like, you know, and so, hey, when you say that's gonna be an extra $2 a month, cool.
So that's where the city won't be able to get out of it, and that gets into the tracking comment that Mike had down, is you're still gonna be dealing with getting information, like the city won't out of the can business. So to us, it's really the issue only started when you get into that one-time payment. When it really kicked off, and the additional issue was when Econoway switched, because they were dealing with the recycling cans, but even then, the city has an element tracking and communication that you're never fully out of it. So if you take out the one-time payment argument, you're really down to, we're taking the cans. It's a pretty minimal effort for us. Like that's, it was all the man-hour discussions. Hey, we're at our limit. The cans have never been part of that difficulty. It's not the cause of our issues.
Yeah.
So you're never really gonna get out of it. Like,
I don't think.
it'll get quieter just because, in our opinion, taking out that one-time payment, that's where the issue, if you weren't having that conversation, because those get pretty long, and if they dispute it and they have pictures, like, but you're really just battling, is it a Republic's fault? And most of the time it's their word against theirs. You know, they're not just gonna pay it as a company because the residents said they did it. Like, we were trying to explain, they're 20 years old, they're gonna break, nothing lasts forever. And
Yeah.
so if you take that whole issue out of the equation, you would free up considerable amount of time.
So just being able to spread out that fee by increasing our monthly fee would help quite a bit.
From the conversations seems everybody's having with them at this point, that's where it all boils down, is that one-time payment.
Right.
That's the issue. If I have to randomly find $150 in my monthly bills of living. That's a problem for a lot of people, and that seems to be the main issue.
Yeah, I think looking back, we made the decision thinking it was the best, cheapest way to go about this, but really, realistically, it has caused all sorts of problems. The one-time fee.
Well, it will be, I mean, if you think about it, if you do 53, is it 53? I got 35. 53 bucks for the Schaefer can. If you have a resident pay 53 bucks and he buys that and it's good for, let's just say 5 years, he's gonna be much further ahead than if he pays $1 a month.
Right.
And so that, that's gonna be, I mean, so the resident will be paying less if he buys his own can. That's the.
That was what we believed.
That's what we believed.
But
But people don't look at it that way because they were paying 134 for a can. And then
even that, they would have been, it'd been cheap.
and it would have been cheaper too. But they would rather pay a monthly fee and just have it be out of sight, out of mind, which sounds like from what you're saying, that would be the best thing for staff as well, to be in the can business, just take that fee out. So what do you do with all those residents that have paid 135 for a can? Now we're giving them a cheaper option, a $53, which is, cheaper. And I think that Schaefer can would be good. I would love to try that for a cheaper option. But what do you do for that? I mean, because that would raise, and what if we gave or not gave but if we replaced the cans on a 5-year period, you're saying 60 cents would be added to the monthly garbage fee?
30 cents per month.
Yeah.
Oh, 60,
So
isn't it
the,
Schaefer?
Well, he's
so
saying
that's for the 2 cans.
2 cans.
Oh, okay.
So for garbage and recycle,
I
you're
see,
looking
okay.
at 60.
But each can would be 30 cents a month. And then everybody that has a truly damaged can could have it replaced on a 10 year,
That's
Ten-
broke over a 15-year.
15 year time frame. So
We have room to store 403 cans?
So that's where the Public Works property off 3,000 comes into play.
The can area.
Yeah,
Yes, we have room to store 400.
we will, yeah, as of right now, because there's no fence and we want a little bit of security down there, then we would be able to,
Steve Gibson running down and picking up a couple of cans would not be good.
No,
we'll have security cameras down there.
chained up.
Anyways, we could go on forever, but does anybody else? Sarah, Sean, Johnny?
How long is our contract with Republic? How much longer do we have? Okay.
Something to know also, when we did go out to bid, Republic was the only one that bid, so just.
Yeah, this,
something-
Their
And I-
service has been great.
and I want to state up front, just echo that, where this is not anything to do with, because I'm happy with Republic. Just, they're doing a good job. Their brakes don't squeak. I think that's the best thing.
I didn't even notice that.
I mean, I can't hardly hear the trucks coming. I used to could hear the old people.
My dog knows when you're coming.
Those brakes would squeak and I could hear them coming from 10 minutes before they got to my house. It did give me time if I forgot to put the can in.
There's a, yeah, missed pickup or something, you are on it.
No, I think so. So Republic Services is okay if they can be gentle on our cans. That's the only question and frustration that I have. And I'm hoping, at least Dave and I think have experienced, done a better job. So.
Yeah, it's a much improvement. So just kind of a proposal. I think it's the right thing. I think the city taking care of the cans. If we let Republic do that, it disconnects, the residents have no voice. They have no way to go back and complain or do anything or to help solve a problem. And I think they do a good job. We have a great tracking system. You guys know where the cans are, except for if they get replaced by Republic or something like that. We know we have a lot of cans that are damaged. There are hundreds of cans out there. Everybody's tried to repair them. They've avoided the $134 what it is to replace them. So I think we're gonna have initial flood of cans regardless of how we go about doing this. and everybody's gonna want to replace them. So I think in my thought, this is just kind of my proposal that we maybe go with the Schaefer can. We do it in-house. We up the charge that right now it's $30 a month, or $30 a month per can. We may have to give an initial fee of say $1 right now for a year, or it may have to adjust it later. When we find out that we can, because we're gonna have this huge
Yeah,
21,000 buck fee
I
now.
like that idea, of
Mhm.
bumping up a little bit. I really think
And-
it's.
You are going to establish a policy also because, again, you can't have people replacing cans
Yeah,
4 or 5 times a year just because, hey, I want to replace my can.
but they're tracking that. These guys know, they know how many times somebody's called and had a can and they've lit a fire in the can or whatever. They know that stuff and they can dispute that and work through it. I don't think the average citizen around here, their cans last forever. They don't have problems with them. There's a few bad actors and we know that happen, but we can keep track of those. So
You know,
I think it's
and
fine.
again, I'm not making any motion, sorry, don't get me wrong.
I'll make him.
I know, but I'm just saying, I think for the first little bit, we don't publicize this too much. I mean, it's gonna be a fee and all those things, but I would like to have staff just drive up the roads on garbage days, identify the cans that are broken. You know, and.
Well, Republic could probably tell us
Well,
every
Republic,
every day. I
but
mean,
they're- But I mean, you can drive up and down and over the course of a month or two, we're gonna identify. Cause this Pleasant View Drive and up my street, you know, you can identify all the cans that are broken. Cause if we get a wholesale chain or wholesale, put it out there, you know, we're gonna replace your cans, I think that could be overwhelming at some point, but maybe not.
I think their discretion,
Okay,
that's my opinion.
maybe.
If we get out of the recycling business here, then can we use the blue ones as garbage cans for a while then?
Well, I need to have that conversation with Ashley. So can you come back up here for a minute? And this is not on the table for today, okay?
Would be provided for people to
Well,
drop recycling.
we're gonna have to discuss that, it's the third thing. So right now, we're being charged, and you're doing a run of 2 trucks on I mean, mine's on Wednesday. I don't know how many days you. No, well, no, you're doing, every other week you're doing 2 runs.
Yeah.
If we did away with the recycling and just had that be a extra can every other week and still identified as a blue can that's picked up on the same schedule, but by the same truck. You know, so the truck, instead of having a recycling can truck come through and a regular garbage truck come through, and they just picked up 2 cans every other week,
So it's definitely an option.
is what's the price to that? 'Cause
Yes, so I think it's Mayor, we can explore this together too. Your neighbor, North Ogden, does this right now. Their blue cans are picked up as trash, every other week. So every resident has 2 trash containers technically, plus some people have an additional one. With that said, it does change the structure of the rates. I would have to talk to my finance team how that would look because our current contract due is based on us doing recycling, so
Right.
I'd have to get back on that. And North Ogden is now doing opposite of Pleasant View and is potentially going back to recycling. So we can do it. It is an option. But that city, they owned their containers too, decided we're gonna keep those blue cards out there.
Well, and we want to keep them because we own the blue cans as well, but it just seems like it's the cost versus benefit for me. I mean, I want to protect the environment as much as the next guy. I don't, but I think it's costing us more. And at least the horror stories that I've heard at different meetings.
Something that you could be willing to ask the public. if
Oh, of course,
they keep it or-
of
or-
course, yeah, put some real numbers out there, of course. But I just think most of it's being thrown away.
I am
And-
supposed to defend it, so I will, but.
But I don't know what the percentage is, but I would say 60%. I mean, could you say 60% of the recycled products is just dumped as regular garbage? Sean?
Just depends on where it's going. There was a time when recycling wasn't worth anything. And when we did recycling at the Weaver County Transfer Station, yeah, it was just being shipped off to the landfill because that's
Is that what
the
happens
cheapest
as well?
option. No, right now, I believe your recycling goes to the Davis County MRF.
That's
And
right.
it is actually processed and recycled and sold.
Is everything?
Yeah.
So I mean, cardboard is big, but a pizza box has grease on it, isn't recycled. Correct. A milk carton that's not washed out isn't recycled. So there's a big cost to hand sorting all those different things. And I don't know what the numbers are, but there is a cost that we pay to recycle. I don't know what that is, but it's above and beyond just dumping it in the landfill. And if it truly went to make tires for Tesla cars, I would say, yes, let's do it, but I don't, Europe recycles everything. They have a small little garbage can and big recycle cans, because they recycle everything. We don't. So I'll talk to
Yeah.
Mayor Barker to see what he's doing, bringing the recycling back, because I've not heard that at all.
It was literally in my last council meeting with them. That was the conversation. So
Well,
very tentative.
We're not making a decision on that at all.
Yes.
This is cans,
Yes.
but down the road, I want to make it, let's have a discussion
Yes.
about that.
Let-
So let me back that back, so that's not in our issue today. I
Mayor,
apologize for bringing it up.
add one more thing. Very much Davis would be willing to do a tour for you so you can see it, but also there is another recycling facility that has opened up. I don't know how reliable they are. I don't have a lot of information about them, but they're in Ogden, so that's something to consider. But the city is getting a good deal right now with the contracted rates. So if we were to take it to Ogden, it might even increase the recycling. So it's something to explore. We can talk about it.
Well, I want to do anything we can to support our Ogden, Weaver County landfill.
We don't take recycling.
I know,
at the transfer
but maybe, I don't know. He's our resident garbage man right here.
Recycling plant, that was during COVID. we actually went. And so
Recycled
we
garbage.
wouldn't mind coming to do that one in Davis County either.
Anyway, please, I apologize, I brought that up, and I want to back off because we're running out of time.
That's a really important discussion though, because would we keep
Yeah.
the same color can or not?
How many residents choose to get a second can?
You.
Is it more than 50%? Is it more than 50% of our residents have a second can?
No, I bet it's 10%.
So we have on record 932 extra garbage cans. We have registered 2,400 regular cans.
Third of the
Third.
total people. That's a lot.
And then for extra recycle cans, we have 43. So not very, yeah, people who have 2 recycle cans.
Is it just, how much more a month? Well, I don't.
Yeah, we'll into that, but anyway, so Dave, you started to maybe make the motion or something? Or
Yeah,
I-
so
This is just a presentation.
So there's no action to take.
Well, we gotta make the action. Who noticed this?
I did, it's presentation.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, I want to make.
We go through the budget process too,
Yeah.
because your rates are gonna change too, depending
Yeah.
on salaries and different things. and that.
All right.
So can we give a
We narrow it down.
direction to say,
I
come
would-
back with
I
this
would-
recommendation?
I would like to hear what the council has then, we won't make a decision on it. But I want to hear what the council idea of fixing this problem. And then staff will, I do worry about that initial funding for getting the cans, because we just don't have that in the budget. You get a big chunk of cans.
Well, I'm wondering too, is staff, I mean, giving them what is your full recommendation too?
Okay, go ahead.
I think that would be good.
I think that was on there, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we recommend basically sticking with what we're doing now and using the Schaefer can. It's keeps us tracking the cans like we have been, and then just breaking it out in that monthly payment should help out a lot of our problems that we're having right now.
So the
That's-
paper can, what was that?
That-
It was.
$53.
53.14 for a container.
And then not
No,
billing them.
monthly.
And
Monthly, it's 60 cents for both cans.
So
Does any other council members have any?
yeah,
Other-
I'll just no, I don't know. I'd like to just add on to that one for me. Yeah, I think the Schaefer can, and we we charge more a month. Need to look at more a month to the citizens so that we can recover the initial burst of the amount of cans. And then on top of that, they have a minimum order quantity of 400. That must be a truckload, full truckload.
It's a half truck.
It's a half truck.
Yeah, so their
Okay.
full truck is
Do they,
almost 800.
I don't know if they didn't, if it's worth paying a different fee to get half of those instead of a whole half truck, you know, I mean,
They probably have millions, probably half the trucks, probably none.
well, a minimum for a certain price, but I can't imagine, they gotta be, because the best thing would be frequent delivery, right? If we had it, but they could ship us cans once a
They-
month,
they've
right?
got-
Ship us 20 cans
They-
once a
no,
month. that would
No,
be-
they've got, the cost would be out of control for shipping, not.
Yeah, and I see that, because
just 20 cans, 'cause
it depends on what we print on the cans and I mean, there's all sorts of
That's-
numbering, serial numbers, all that kind of stuff, right?
The other part of the shipping is them doing the manufacture for the same can with the stamp.
Stamp and the serial number,
So,
because they
yeah,
probably
that-
started a new number and
Yes,
some
that is
duplicate numbers and things
all
like that.
part of their
Yeah.
process as well.
I'm sure that's what it is.
With the tough fee and everything else, let's not stagger this out, just blow all at once.
Sean, did you have a comment? No.
Just to clarify, I'm a new person. I moved into the city. I still have my first fee, right? Is that correct? Which is
Would it be 53?
or $53.
No, there's a fee in
There's an additional fee,
in
right?
the building permit.
The building, we'll get you a can.
No, but if you move and you're not building,
Yeah, so two situations then.
Hopefully they have the can.
there's the,
If the can's there, then the initial fee is,
the cost of the can.
Right now,
$53.
right now it's 100.
even though the can's already there at the resident,
No, there's no fee.
then there's no fee.
Yeah. I know.
I just moved, and I start paying them monthly.
So those are all the parts we'd have to come back with, cause you'd have to come back with fee, that's a different meeting process, the budget, like, so there's nuances. This is just identifying that the
Okay.
costs
That's-
for the
that's what I
can
wanted to get.
specific, so that's what Laurie was saying with the budget, if you're coming back and some of them had code elements, cause you'd have to change some of that language for the timing.
Yeah.
So those variables would come back with an action item.
Have
if
we
that makes
identified?
sense.
Have we identified, do we have in writing so the residents know their responsibility as well as Republic's responsibility for the can? What justifies a replacement or not?
So you have like the damage items in the code currently, so if somebody set their can on fire, which we've been to, and it's melted to the ground, you know, it's billed to them, that's a
Okay.
clause, even if it's under warranty, because
Okay.
obviously you wouldn't get the warranty. So some of that's what we would want to look at and tweak depending on
Yeah.
what your general direction was. And you'd have to bring all of that back at once to sort of navigate that process change.
So is that what we're recommending, is that we have this full program being brought back to us as with all these details worked out? Is that what we're saying?
Yes, you'd have the rest of the details with a
The
formal.
fee schedule is a big deal
action.
for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, and it sounds like there's gonna be different fee schedules for different things, so. You
Got it.
guys are the ones that make the decision.
Schaefer, Dan.
Think we can get behind that. So maybe go that direction and bring us
Yeah.
back what that looks like.
We will take that not action and move.
Do we wanna put
Yes, make sure Phil's here.
do we wanna have a time frame for this, or?
Want to do it your budget, because you're gonna have.
Yeah, we're-
Rates,
yeah.
garbage, all kinds of things.
Yeah, there's gonna be stuff in this, we can't, we have to spend
So maybe
it on the
we-
budget, but
But I don't.
I wanna do, well, I mean, at least make the decision
Like
before
your
you
idea.
implement it after, but,
Yeah, actually, the budget, we implemented, will start July 1st.
okay.
So have that in the budget already in the discussion when we start negotiating the budget.
I know we're not doing this tomorrow, I understand that, but I wanted them to have a direction, which I guess we have. We'll go forward. Staff clear on what we want? So let it be written.
I have a question though too. It might be just the engineer in me, but everything we talk about with failure is anecdotal. And so anything you can do to bring data to that, like which can is the best can? I know they have warranties on them, but really what does the manufacturer really tell us what that can, how many cycles that can really should go through, even though it doesn't have a warranty? So I know maybe Republic should have a lot of that too, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if anybody actually does that.
Local cities, what do the other cities around us do and what are their results?
Well, yeah, we're not really tracking them ourselves. Maybe we have data that's better.
We have some of that info. I don't know how much for the Shaper, but the other two we have in the past. I guess that gets back into, if we thought it was a shoddy can, we would, I guess, have recommended that you
Different
not
one.
use that one.
Yeah. Okay.
So we
Well-
can definitely try to make more of that detail as part of the information, if that's what's you
Yeah.
want to see.
I mean, like the Rotomodal cam, what's the company? I can't remember the company, but I think it's, you know, kind of got a bad rap, but when you really look at the data and go out there, I mean, I bet there's a lot of cans in the city that are well over 25 years, you know, so, and it's just the way, you know, if you just got to look at the data, that's what I'm saying. So anyway, thanks.
Thanks for putting this together.
It's awesome. Yeah, thanks. Good
Thank
job,
you.
Mike.
Yeah. Michael?
Thank you. Thank you.
You've done well. You can keep your job, come back tomorrow.
Thank you.
I can switch.
All right, we have two more things and then we'll do other business. And this is one of my projects. I'm so sorry. You should have in front of you two billing options. There's a third one, but it was, way higher. Sarah, I'm sorry. That third one that you gave was way higher.
Oh, it was local resident.
Yeah, it was 7 something, so I just didn't even have that. So Crown Trophy, which is the one, is the customer that Matt that gave us or has given us our things and the quid pro quo does not go into this at all, but he is quoting $293 for a 2-inch textured coin, and that's kind of the picture that you have here. And I like the one without the billings in, so I picked that one.
Is that the size of the coin? That's bigger than 2 inches. Isn't it?
Is, this one on this side is not the one that you like.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, there's other things to pick too,
Does
but
that include the mold fee?
that includes the multi, that includes everything as it stands. There'll be a border around, so like these things would be, so very similar to what this kind of has a little border around it, where the flag and stuff goes off, it'd be very similar to that. There's several things that I want to get, but and this will have to be a budget amendment as well, because we're going to have to come up with some funds here, and we'll have to, so this is not a decision tonight either. But, and then Sarah got this other one. Clark's 409, 380 and 69. So we are more. I don't think we're getting, I think I talked to Jellico and he did not get me any pricing yet.
The biggest in the state is Symbol Arts.
Yeah.
Check Symbol Arts.
So we still can do that. It's about a month out. And everybody's pretty much a month to get the mold made and get them done. From what I've understood, it's, as you see it here, the definition of the fence behind, the detail is just great. So I want to move forward with the commemorative coin, price will be $175.
US 250.
Back at $250, but yes.
Are you going to sell them?
Yes, we're gonna have to sell them.
Because with the elimination of the Easy Grant,
Yeah.
Even at $293 or even $3, is it gonna charge us for shipping? That's the other
No,
question.
no,
we need to
no.
get down here.
No, that would.
That's still, that's like $5,000 or $6,000 for 2,000.
Yeah, well,
Well,
it's on there. What was it?
Yeah.
Well, and
And these are, and this particular one from Crown, this is for 2,000, but he'd do the same price for 1,000 coins. And I don't know, I think I would start with 1,000 and kind of see how they go, but 5860 would be 2,000, so half of that, would be for 1,000 coins.
what are the two different ones?
1.5 inches and 2 inches.
Oh, inch and a half. Okay.
So I looked at the samples, the 2 inches was just a much more substantial.
Nice.
coin.
It's nice.
It's a nicer coin. And for, 70 cents or whatever it is, I'd pay for that. We could still charge $5 for a coin. We could charge 10. Want to make it even amounts, but I think $5. I've talked to several people that are willing to buy them, $5, and we'd still cover, whatever thing we do. So I'm looking for, what do we have on the agenda? Can we,
Discussion.
this discussion?
Your next meeting.
Okay, so yeah, and there's several budget items. Definitely, we don't have the budget right now. This would have to be a general fund transfer to, and Laurie's setting up the line item for this. But I want to have everybody, are we good? Can we go forward?
Maybe a suggestion on if we do say charge $5, maybe we have part of that go to something like the Pleasant View Heritage or something that a piece of that could be tied to. Because if I'm a citizen, I'm going to buy this. It'd be nice if a piece of that went to something
Yeah.
for the future or to an
Well, I thought
organization.
it could go into our founders kitty, I thought.
Yeah,
But Heritage would be good too. They were.
whatever it is.
Yeah, we're not making money off of it. We're
There's
just,
have to be a donation to them because they're not a city entity.
yeah.
The
So
Heritage
I just think, I think it would go into any proceeds above cost would just go into our Founder's Day.
Yeah, I'd be more motivated as a citizen knowing that this was going towards something.
But America 250 is a big deal. And I just don't feel like it's,
Yeah, said like 1776 or 1976 went back.
yeah, it's just,
Kids,
back when I was a
yeah.
kid, it was, it
That's
was,
a big
it was
deal, huh?
everywhere, 200 years.
Wasn't
But I just, and,
Sorry, it's before Mike was born. but-
yeah. thank-
Wait, he's so polite.
I grabbed my microphone, like deep. Say it, I say it.
Sean, do we just give the option to you to speak this first time?
Just every time. No, just, how many of these do we realistically think we're going to sell? I don't want to order
Yeah.
1,000 more than we
Say
need.
like 500.
How many did we do for the Veterans Memorial?
We only did 200 and we still have
Yeah.
some left over.
I think if it's handled right, I think we could 1,000 of them, but maybe maybe it is 500. I don't know.
I would be, to be more realistic, I would do 500 or less. Honestly,
I don't know, I'm,
unless you're gonna be ambitious and
this is kind of thing, hey, it'd be everybody's Christmas stocking, like
Yeah.
all my kids are getting one and,
Yeah.
so.
Well, to make more, it's the mold that takes the time,
Yeah.
right? So to order
There's
more.
probably a set,
around.
so what?
Well, there
what is the?
there is a setup fee, but it is included in this, for the crown, it's included in that.
But like if you only order 500,
I
you
don't know
think you need more.
I said 1,000 or 2,000, he said it'd be the same price for either.
Know how long would it take if we
Well,
decide,
well,
oh,
if we
we
get
need
another one,
more?
well, I think the mold,
Less than a month.
yeah, so, I
So another month it would take to get.
don't know.
Yes, that's Steve, like, once we
would-
have the mold made,
Yeah.
we order 500, how fast would we get another 500 if we
Perfect.
need it?
Or 100 at a time. I mean,
Yeah.
What are those minimum orders?
Would he still honor the price though? If it's 1,000,
I don't
then
know.
the
I did,
price stays.
I asked him
the
if, because I
100.
said 2,000 is too many. I said 1,000, he said that'd be,
Likely the price would probably go up a little bit.
Yeah.
it
should
could
go down.
for 500, I don't know for sure. I'll ask that question, I'll bring it
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't wanna, are we good with the coin? Are we good with, for going forward? We're gonna get, I'll bring some prices back and you guys will spend the money. That's not on me. We'll do a budget amendment to pay for it. Whether we do credit card or whatever, we have to have that. Something in the budget, so we'll work on that. I'd like to get these coming, before the 1st of May.
Yeah, then you
least-
can start.
By Founder's Day for sure.
At least get them ordered by the 1st of May, then we have by the 1st of June, then we just blanket it out there.
At the table.
We could have
We're
a
good.
table. And then we're gonna have to, worry about how we're gonna collect the money. That's another thing that I don't know exactly
City.
whether we do it here at the city or, how do we do something out at the square dance or whatever we do.
Doesn't the city employee have to, any funds that are going to the city, a city employee has to be the one making that
Yeah,
transaction.
so those things was yet to be determined, but
So
I just think if we put it out there, I wanna have several, I'm just like Dave, I wanna give one to my kids, my grandkids. This is a big deal, so that American 250, you lived that, you saw that. All my school pictures were 1976, before I was born, I know, but,
Ouch.
But how old are you today?
oh, I was in high school. Anyway, enough said. Anne, she has a nice presentation on communication.
Very short presentation. We already talked about this in our work session, but just to finalize and get a council action on this, we'd like to eliminate the city newsletter going by mail. We're not discontinuing it completely, but we're gonna send it out via email instead. So I'm proposing that we go with Constant Contact. Instead of paying $1,000 a month right now currently that we're spending to go out, you know, separate from the utility bill. If we did this, we would be well, let's just say $300. It's really close to that for 6 months. That would allow us 6,000 emails a month and also 500 text messages a month. So, I mean, at that rate, we're,
Remind me, do you have to opt into the text or do you automatically get it?
you have to opt in on the text. Yep. And with this, they'll help us with onboarding and we've got live support. They're going to help us with our social media marketing. There's an AI platform that goes with it. There's automation. I mean, there's a lot of advertising and things like that. So I think I'd like to try it for 6 months.
Coins?
Yes, we sure can. So,
QR code to pay for them?
yeah. Then, also if we go forward this way, I need a tax form because initially they'll charge us tax, but then they'll reimburse us for that. Okay. So any questions about that?
We don't need a website to do it. It's completely independent of that, right?
Yeah, and we can direct from the newsletter back to the website for more information too, you know?
Well, the letter will no longer be on the bill and it will.
No, it'll be on the bill.
Oh.
This
okay.
is, we're taking away the $900 that we're just mailing to those residents that do not get a water.
Independent newsletters, yeah.
We're paying $900 a month, so these funds will come from that and we'll hopefully have, you know, $7,000 to $8,000 we're gonna save.
Just curious, if you have a resident who, say, my neighbors on the street, the condos, and say, hey, you took away my, can they opt back in? Or it's like, no, we're not sending you the newsletter anymore.
They can swing by the city office and pick it up. Or they
So
can
we
pull it
have
up
to
from their
send it.
email and print it. Yeah, but we're not gonna send it out.
They all have
Mail it. It's on the website, yeah.
Okay, no, I was just.
Welcome to 2026, you know? So. Yeah. Great.
This is a big change. How many years has that newsletter gone out? 100?
So do you need a motion?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a
And
motion.
This is also to cancel the.
Does that need to be in the motion?
To mail.
And so in lieu of,
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion in lieu of sending out the newsletter via email. We are
Via mail.
via mail, we are going to contract for 6 months with, what is the name of it? Constant Contact in the amount of $300 to receive our monthly newsletter and text messaging.
I'll second the motion.
we have a motion, the second, any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Other business, let's start with Tyson.
So we're pretty much in cleanup phase from the various projects, wrapping up the big 2025 storm drain capital, so it'll go into warranty period, but they've been given their punch list and there's some items with residents we'll be working through, but for the most part, the major construction should be at its end, so.
Has everybody traveled down 400?
Did it work? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like my sinkholes?
So, yeah.
That's big,
Oh, we've got, they're down a foot. and
That's the
they're-
punch list he's talking
I
about?
hope so.
Yes, so there's things like that where they have to come back, cut out, compact. That's probably one of the bigger ones. There's some other minors throughout, but the majority of the project was at completion and functioning. So definitely not the end of them with many items they do have to come back for, but the sewer project started. Again, invite anybody if you're interested and want to come out on one of those, let us know and we'll try to coordinate or if you want to tour any of the other project sites,
You know, I would
Happy
highly
to be
recommend that.
taught.
I want you guys to be active in this. These guys took me out there at kind of that opening day and it was good to see it actually. I mean, I've heard about it, we talked about it. But actually see the guys down in the hole digging that and see where that pipe's gonna go. Take them up on that.
Driving by it every day, so I can see the progress.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
about that.
No, and then, yeah, just to clean up, the odds and ends, get ready for budget season and got some more staff down at the Parks Rec Conference. And then we'll be pushing a lot of the new people into all the certs. We got a few that, we need to get through CDL and some of the stormwater IRSI that we'll start getting people in now that they're getting to the end of their 6 months, so. Posted the utilities tech one for the other position now that we made the moves in-house. And we'll wrap up those last two hopefully pretty soon, so.
Good for you.
They're posted, you said?
The one we were posting out today, the utilities one, cause that one that's the one we vacated to move them into the other street stormwater position, so. And then the one in the state role. So that freed up or emptied the one tech position.
Cool, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's coming along. I think where people have moved to, it's a good fit and works better for them. And so hopefully that's part of keeping the good ones and making it work for the city as well, so.
Don't take the plows off yet. We're gonna have one more storm, I'm sure.
Take them off, who wants?
I called it yesterday. It was so nice. I can't do it. We emptied the middle bin and we're switching to sweeping street sweepers, so. Start putting that back to work, so.
Chief.
All right. So, we had our critical incident. I sent everybody a press release on that. I guess when we were in our work session, I hadn't realized, you probably all hadn't seen that. So you probably had no idea what I was talking about when I was barely able to talk, for one, but, that critical incident, we had our debrief yesterday, on that, and a debrief is where you get everybody together that was involved and you kind of go over what went good and what didn't. Super happy with the feedback, super happy with the way that it went. Obviously, it's a terrible incident any way you want to look at it, but our end, on the debrief, the consensus was that we did a pretty good job. I was super proud. We had a sergeant that was brand new, he's a new sergeant, on scene. He handled that really well. I was super happy with the way he handled that incident. And one of our new officers was on scene. Two of our new officers were there. All three of them did a great job. During the debrief, I was able to, we addressed the SWAT situation. Our SWAT commander, Jason Vandenberg, did a great job. We pay into that every year. We were talking, Vandenberg and I were talking about, we hadn't had a SWAT call out in Pleasant View for quite some time prior to that, but I'm sure we got our money's worth for however long we've been paying into that night. I mean, there was several officers, there was 2 different SWAT teams that came. It was a huge incident and he did a really good job, handling that for us. And one part of that was, Weber County Sheriff's Office. I just want to, publicly thank them for, they sent their drones out. They spend a lot of money and time and manpower on their drone program. And they're very, very, good about sending their guys out to help us with that. In fact, during our debrief, Lieutenant Horton, the sheriff's office said, if your mayor and council and city administration ever want to see a demonstration with our drone program, they'd be more than happy to come out and do it. And I think we ought to take advantage of that sometime because it's an awesome program that they've built up that, they ended up flying the drone into the house, before any officers had to go in, which was awesome. And so, super happy with how that went. That critical incident, along with others that we've had, triggers things such as training that we need to do better at, equipment that we need. And so as we approach budget and that, look forward to those things. I already have a list of things, RAMs and things we need to protect ourselves and the citizens. And I don't know, you probably remember reading in that debrief, there was a 13-year-old kid in the house, there's things that So there are situations, luckily on that one we were, but there's times we won't be able to wait for SWAT to respond. And we need to have breaching tools and stuff like that, that you're gonna see come up in our budget. And we need to be training on stuff like that, such as that MOU that we did with the Tri-City. So, anyways, I just wanted to kind of address that. Part of, what we've done recently, we sent our Sarah, she's went to get, to become a certified wellness coordinator through the state mandates. We have one of those. I talked around and nobody volunteered to do it except her, and she's done really well with it. I don't know if you guys remember, a couple weeks ago, we had a whole bunch of cars here for training for a whole day. And that's what they were doing, was we got the training for free because we hosted it. And so, Sarah's done really good. She's reached out to the officers involved in that critical incident, and made sure that they're getting whatever they need as far as help with that kind of stuff. So, like I said, it all in all, it went pretty good. The police department's doing well. But again, those incidents trigger things that we know we need to do better at training and equipment and stuff like that. So I appreciate your guys' support. And if you have any questions, I do think we ought to take advantage of Lieutenant Horton's offer some point. I don't know when. It'd be pretty cool to have him do a demo for us.
A day that's in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question on that. I mean, we had a suicide, well, supposed suicide. There was a couple other events that happened within a day or two of each other. I don't know how much you can share with us or should share with us. How much do we expect that we would get a briefing of what's happened in the city? I mean, you do that at a council meeting, I guess, but
Yeah.
I don't know if there's laws on that, or I mean, how much can we know? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, I think that's most of the time I would work with our attorneys and just do them. I try to keep you informed as best that I can. There's a couple things that we'll always consider, the integrity of the investigation. If the investigation's ongoing, you're not gonna hear very much from me at all.
Yeah.
Not that I don't trust the mayor and city council, but I don't want to hinder any sort of investigation. And I don't think you guys would want that either. If you don't know, nobody can say you did, And so officer safety, hinder an investigation and stuff like that. And then also the rights of the people that we deal with, you'll very rarely hear me say any names or addresses or anything like that. But I do try to keep you informed, and I could probably, try to do a little better at that. Obviously, a press release, I was super comfortable sending that to everybody because that's going public. Like,
Right.
there's nothing in there that you're not privy to. So,
Yeah.
I think anything, I care if people pass, and I don't, that's not something that's gonna be blown out to everybody, but we had a resident pass, we had somebody pass, or something like that. I think that's good to just, without specifics necessarily, maybe if someone passes, that's more specific, but I think just to keep, again, that communication open, something that, Ann's trying to work and Sarah does a good job with getting stuff out, but just let us know what can be just generic. Because we get questions too, what happened? There's a big police presence down by Dave's house. What was he doing? Well, he was out there causing all kinds of grief on the canal. Shooting raccoons. Anyway, thanks, Chief. I appreciate your work. Matt? Welcome back. I'm glad you're amongst the living. Glad you weren't off. I just very briefly before we turn to Andrea, I talked to Andrea a couple days ago. I don't know, when, Monday? I forget, yesterday. Holy cow. And I'm just so thankful that we have an attorney that can help answer questions, that can lead us right. And we welcome that. And I'm glad that we have Matt, because he fits right in and he's not this knucklehead that we just can't stand. Well, that's true. I shouldn't say that, but you can work with him, you can joke a little bit, and he's just right on it. I was so thankful for the Whitsonia help. We called you before we left the meeting. We had stuff in place, even though he'd been sick. And I just thank you for that. Andrea.
I don't have anything in addition to what was on the agenda.
Andrea's doing a great job too, even though she's probably still jet lagged. She had a fun.
But daylight savings on top of
But she partied and had a fun time up on in the Pacific Northwest and we're just thankful that she get out and have some fun and let her hair down and thankful for all the job that you do. Thank you. Laurie.
Thanks to all your posters back.
Put it back in the folder.
Yeah, there's always like some people.
Oh, I've got to change. on
Oh,
one of them.
you-
Yeah, do you want me to say that now or because it's a closed meeting, just talk to you? It's nothing substantial.
We were putting already.
Closed minutes as well. It's just, yeah, it's Mayor Call instead of Mayor Gibson.
Oh,
So, sorry.
Thank you.
thank you.
She has a hard time changing that. She wants Mayor Call back. I had to come in, I
Six instead of 2025.
I had to come and sign papers all over again because they had Mayor Call all over them. Sean,
Nothing.
Sarah.
Just letting you know that there's a UCB Council Service project that they're working with their Parks Department, helping cleaning out a detention basin this Saturday. They're so excited.
That's
Is this the beginning or the ending of the kids? Of the-
We have our final dinner in
Okay.
May, and then the kind of the recruitment is Founder's Day when they come in.
Okay, so these kids have been through the school year.
The scholarship presentation will be coming up.
I appreciate you doing what you're doing on some of the
They're
things out, so
amazing
thank you for that.
That was awesome.
Dave.
Nothing for me tonight.
Just briefly, we're working on some easy grants.
Yeah.
We've got 3 that are ready to go. Public Works is doing one, on an RC crawler park in Pleasant View Park. We're working on some pickleball, easy grant for like the paddle holders for the rotation system and like a backstop you can practice against. And then we're working on some the banners that hang to the light posts. So those 3, we've been working on those and, we'll be ready to submit. Yeah, that's all.
I'm curious, do we get do a recap or do we get a recap from the legislative session impact that we would have? Does that come?
Andrea's.
The league has a session for HAPA
Mhm.
that you can get on Zoom on Tuesday, right?
Summarizing that.
Yeah,
Will you give us
there are
a-
several that will have to make ordinance changes or establish ordinances or some policy changes.
Will you give us an update on that?
The only thing that I have, we received, and I was gonna present it today, but we're already 9 o'clock, so I'm not gonna do it today, but there's an outdoor recreation. It's a 38 by 38 pad that is kind of nice. It has chin up stations. I think there's 12 different stations. It, sit-ups, you has some things you can do, kind of stair step stuff, just all sorts of things. It's about $160,000. They give you a $35,000 grant. I think that's just a marketing ploy. So it's about $125,000. I really think it'd be a beneficial thing to have 1 or 2 in our city at some point. I've told her, the lady that I talked to, this would not be anything for this year. It's gonna have to be something next year or couple years. But I'm gonna give you or maybe email you kind of the presentation. I didn't really understand it until I saw it.
Where would you put them?
Well, it could go right over here in Barker Park. We could do it west of the pickleball courts. That's kind of the place that I thought it might go really well. It's an adult thing, but your kids could do it. They do have an expansion thing that you could do yoga or some outside thing. They have a cover that you can put over the top of it. It's all weather. The Public Works would only have to pressure washer it a couple times a year.
You're thinking, thank you.
So anyway, it's just something for you to think about. It's kind of outsized if we didn't already spend $1 million on the pickleball court, take all our funds out, but I think it has some merit. I was prepared to just tell her to go jump. But as I went through the presentation, I said, that could be kind of fun.
I think we should take some tours of some parks.
Yeah.
There's several in Utah that are fantastic and it'd be kind of fun to go see.
Okay.
We could do it.
Really cool one down there.
Do that. But there's just stuff like that just make it special. I've talked to several developers. We talked with Dave Lioli. about having that be a destination property, destination development. I think we need, as a city council and city, we need to kind of think outside. Have it, don't just do something because somebody else did it, but have something that stands alone. Anyway, that's all I have. I'd entertain a motion to.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we sing happy birthday
Oh. Yeah, no, I do not recognize that motion.
with the microphones off.
I second that motion, Dave. Okay, ready?
All in favor?
Make it fast.
Happy birthday to you.
Here we go, fast.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Many more.
Thank you, everybody.
Cha-cha-cha. Ooh-la-la.
It's,
Make a motion that we adjourn now.
the older you
Second.
get, all in favor? The older you get, the more you do not want to have these birthdays. And Laurie and I were 3 days apart. She's having a birthday on Friday.
Oh.
Or is it Friday? Friday. So we were in the same hospital. The Dean Hospital in Ogden. I said, we were probably in the same hospital. She's my little sister. Coming in. Right. We were in heaven together. And we said, we're coming down.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
He's tucked in the.